All right, guys, welcome to the Media Hijacked podcast. I'm your host, Billy Walters, and joining me is Chris, Unholy Jesus. So,
What is up, everyone?
what's
Happy
going on,
Tuesday.
guys?
Happy Tuesday.
Welcome back to another episode of the Media Hijack, episode number 77, the big 77. This is my number. This is life path. It's not really my number, but according to my life path, I'm a number 7.
Okay, that's my favorite number. So that's it. 7.
It's not my favorite number though, because that's actually an unlucky number.
Really?
Yeah, but I happen to be like, according to my birthday chart and everything, I'm a number 7.
Okay, so you gotta accept it. Accept the 7.
It's my path.
The path you're gonna
I was
walk.
born this way. I was born in the path of the 7.
All right.
But yeah. All right, guys. So in today's episode, before I do the intro, today's episode, the main topic, we're going to be talking about the Melon Heads in Connecticut, correct?
Yes, sir.
And also after that, we're going to be talking about the dead theory, the internet dead theory. The dead internet theory.
There we go. There
Yes. That the internet has been dead for a while now. People just haven't noticed because it's all been taken over by bots. And it's all been happening for a long time now.
Oh,
And
that's
the
makes
internet
sense.
is really not that big.
I thought about that a while ago too.
I
can't wait to hear this.
Not that big like we think it is.
It's very tiny.
Very tiny.
The internet's huge, and most people on it
Quid game, yeah.
ain't real.
Yep. All right, guys. So if you guys want to buy some official Media Hijack t-shirts, head over to the MediaHijack.com. Buy you an official t-shirt. Represent. Wear that shit. Take a picture. Tag us. Do whatever you guys want to do. Make us happy. Because that's your job, right? To make us happy.
Yes, please. Please.
But like, you guys are needy.
Oh my God, what do you want this time? Fuck.
Also, if you guys want to follow our Reddit, post anything you guys want, topics, subjects, funny videos, alien videos, UFO videos, creepy videos, share it.
Anything.
I'm there. I want to laugh too. I want to see all these wild videos.
Maybe start a conversation.
Start a conversation, get some
my God.
upvotes, get some downvotes. Also, if you guys want to catch the replay for this video, head over to our YouTube. You can catch this live replay of the Twitch show live on YouTube. Not live on YouTube, but replay on YouTube. Also, iTunes people, don't forget to rate and subscribe. Give us that 5 stars. Leave a comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Treat us good.
That's all. Help us in the algorithms, man. This shit is against us.
No,
I don't want to make an excuse, but I feel like it's against us a little bit.
it's against a whole lot of people. It's a grind now.
Yeah. But yeah, all right. We'll get started with the topic. We're just going to start with the Melon Heads in Connecticut.
Melon Heads.
Then stick
Melon
around later. I'll
Heads.
do the dead internet theory
All
and
right.
blow your brains.
Make sure I can get a swig of this right quick. Hold on.
Let me read the chat real quick. Shell Shock says, one of these days when I'm out there, I'll come on the show and as Chris Anger translator so he can actually argue.
I get that reference.
I'm going to start treating this sub as my personal Gone Wild.
Do it, man.
Yeah, do it. Run that shit.
Look, Shell Shock be running wild on Reddit. He, swing by, drop some shit too. You know?
Drop it, yeah.
Make us. No, Shell Shock. He's real on Reddit. All right, so let me get this shit started with Melon Heads. All right, so how I started, right, when I was looking up for topics for the show, I was at work trying to figure out some shit like, okay, what am I gonna talk about? And I started looking up stuff of like just horror, like weird, creepy shit in the South, which everybody knows the South has got wild shit like voodoo, all kinds of weird shit.
Yeah.
Every place has it. But for some reason, I feel like nobody ever talks about the Northeast, like the Connecticut area, Ohio, any of that shit. But apparently they have a lot of weird shit in that region. A whole lot of weird shit.
What kind of weird shit are we talking about?
Well, I'm going to get to Melon Heads in a second, but some of the stuff I was coming across as like urban legends and stories of accounts of people that they came across stuff like one big urban legend up there is like sea serpents. just hanging around the coast, chilling. Like this eyewitness.
Sea serpents.
Serpents.
Yeah.
Sea serpents.
Like an eel and shit. Right?
Yeah, but a fucking dragon.
Whoa.
But there's eyewitness accounts of that. I found some stuff of where they had this guy called the Leatherman, who was like apparently this homeless guy that walked around like the Connecticut area, I think it was, and he was out there for like years and years and years. But he would walk the same route like constantly throughout the year.
So why they call him the Leatherman?
All of the stuff he was wearing was just all leather made. So he was like hunting stuff. Like he was living off the grid, and only every now and again he would go back around towns within the area to grab supplies, and then go back into the woods. And then people wouldn't see him for like years. And like, okay, he's back again. But apparently, like after a while, when people stopped, there was actually a true story too. When they stopped seeing the Leatherman pop up around the town, like, hey, we haven't seen this dude in a while to get supplies, like he usually does every couple months. I think they sent out a team to go look for him, like some kind of police team, and they found like he had a cave and shit, and they found him dead in there. You end up dying from an infection, I think, or something, or whatever. But they found him in the cave like dead, and he's been living out there for God knows how long. But when they went into his pocket, they found he had like some kind of like either a German book or something. But so it's like, okay, he must have been a foreigner that came to America and probably couldn't fit in or whatever the case may be. But he just saw living out in the wild. But he's like a legend out there within the Northeast area. Another big story they have out there too is called like the Faceless People of Monroe.
This is all with
like the Northeast area because they got weird stories of outcasts and people with deformities. One story they have is the Faceless People of Monroe. Supposedly there's this house, right? Out there in Connecticut, and there's people out there that are born with like no eyes, no nose.
Why is that? Does it have something to do with the environment that they're born?
Maybe it's just some kind of deformity. Nobody knows. But they all stay in this big ass house, and they have one caretaker. And this caretaker basically, like at night, he lets them out the house to get some air, walk around, whatever. But they have like no eyes, no nose. They only have a mouth. That's it, and no ears. But they're walking around just kind of like whatever. And he guides them back into the house. He's there because sometimes they escape and people drive down the road. And eyewitness accounts have said that I've seen a person walking down the street with no eyes and no nose and no ears. And in the middle of the night, and they're like, what the fuck did we just see? And there's always stories of, hey, there's this guy that's keeping all these faceless people in one house. And he's their caretaker. Nobody knows where they came from.
That reminds me of like that one movie where they were at that place where it was like a bunch of people who got affected by the atomic bomb.
Yes, Hills Have Eyes. Yes.
Yeah, Hills Have Eyes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh, we got Bob in the house.
Hey.
We got the mod in here. We're good.
So how? Okay, so Bob in the chat says, so how they out walking around? I don't know, Bob.
It might be on like leashes.
They probably got used to the house and was like, this is the front door, and they go down the steps and then they just wander out.
You said they had caretakers.
I mean, dogs run away.
You said they had caretakers, right? Watching them walk around.
One dude was watching them, like just take care of them.
That's all they need.
But sometimes they escaped, I guess. And
I mean, I would want to escape too. Like if you're like bound to like a location you can't see, but you're still what it feels like to be trapped.
Yeah, because like they don't have a nose, but they can probably still smell. It's probably like little slits, but they don't have a nose. It's all flat and then just a mouth and then no ears.
You think they have feelings?
I would assume so. I would think so. You know what I mean?
Anything that has a soul has feelings, right?
Yeah, unless they don't have.
And then the next question is, how do you know they have souls?
Yeah, but that's what I was gonna say.
I think that's when you get canceled.
And that's it.
And we're done.
So like what I was saying before, though, right? They have along with the Faceless People of Monroe and all that other stuff. Connecticut is really Connecticut area, Northeast area of like the Michigan, Ohio, Connecticut area.
The 7 Seas, right?
They got a lot of crazy
lakes.
Oh, one of them got what's it? Michigan?
4 lakes.
Is that Minnesota?
7 lakes.
No, we talked about this before. No, a friend of mine actually said something about this. They have like 10,000 lakes in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like Indiana area.
I remember learning about the lakes. I just forgot.
But we got criticized before on this show because we said 1,000 lakes one time. We talked about it last time. Somebody called me and was like, hey, like it's more than 1,000. It's actually like 10,000. So it's like 10,000 lakes.
How about you come here live and correct us? How about you come here live and correct us? Because we need that. Mm-hmm. We need to be corrected because we say a lot of wrong shit.
We don't know everything.
But not always. We don't. I don't want to confuse people. Like we do our research to make sure it's not wrong.
I think we're pretty close with a lot of stuff sometimes.
It's just when we go off like a tangent a little bit, we end up coming on topics where we don't really know a little bit.
It's crazy.
So we'll just say a lot of stuff that we think we know, like the facts when we don't, you know?
You know.
So,
There's a lot of water out there. There's a lot of lakes.
yeah, you guys are welcome to come here and correct us. You can correct us in our videos and our iTunes. Let us know.
But the show, but all that stuff within the area where it reminds me of the TV show. I don't know if you remember this back in the day. It used to come on Fox Kids. It was called Erie, Indiana.
Yeah.
And it was like these two kids that lived in this crazy ass town where supernatural stuff happened all the time. And so when I thought about it, I was like, oh, fuck, that whole Northeast area has a lot of shit that a lot of people don't really talk about. It seems like the South get like a lot of the supernatural love, but that shit's pretty crazy too, right? Which leads me into the Melon Heads. All right, so the Melon Heads is 3 states apparently where these Melon Heads live at. It's Ohio, Michigan, and Connecticut, right?
Are they normal people?
Hell no. They've been described as people with tiny bodies and over large heads. Some people was like,
So they look like the dude Megamind. If you were to describe it.
Pretty much. Well, if what I heard is like they have the body of a child, maybe a slightly bit taller, but they have massive craniums, like massive
It
heads.
sounds like you're describing like an alien. Like the typical gray
A gray
alien.
dude, yeah. A typical gray. And so with all these stories that was coming out.
You think it might be their offsprings? No, they can't even reproduce. They don't even have like...
No, they do.
They don't even have reproductive systems.
They do.
No, I'm talking about the aliens.
Oh, with the grays? No.
The
They
graves,
do.
yeah. They're sleek.
Yeah, they got some, like a Ken doll.
They're Ken dolls.
Yeah, they don't have
They're
that shit.
humanoids. They're designed to do a job.
Yes. And that's it.
That's it.
The mothership takes care of the reproduction shit.
You guys want to see a real slave? Look at a grave. Has one job only.
Kind of like an ant.
Can't even have sex or have emotions.
Do your job.
That's why, like, when they would abduct people, right? And then the people that would get abducted, they say, like, these guys have no emotions. They had no empathy. They just did their shit.
And they fondled me.
They fondled the shit out of them, you know?
Like,
And then, like, I looked at them. There was no emotions. He just did his job. It's almost like a butcher butchering a cow, and the cow describing the butcher. The butcher's like, I don't feel shit.
It makes sense though when because the Greys don't have those body parts, they see other people with it or other beings with it. They're like, oh, we need to dissect this because we ain't got it. Oh, they got a butthole? Let's shove this probe up there because they ain't got a butthole. It makes sense to me. That's just me.
Yeah, they don't understand, so they're like, oh,
Let's
why is
chop
he
it up.
screaming? I don't know. Like, I don't know why they be screaming, but just do it.
Are they happy? We don't know. We don't know. We don't understand emotions.
Happy? What's that? That a thing? Like what?
Cannot
You can't
compute.
explain happiness to something that never felt it, right?
Cannot compute.
But then that one alien that actually felt happiness, he was like, "Oh shit, we fucked up." He was like, "We fucked up the whole time."
What have we done?
And then they killed him.
Gotta go. All right, so
Put him
back,
to sleep. Okay, go ahead.
so with the Melon Heads, right? All right, so with the Melon Heads, all right, so 3 states, right? It's Ohio, Michigan, Connecticut. They have lores about these Melon Heads that run around. There's also stories of, I was about to say, they also have frog people stories too out there, where people, it's almost very similar to the Melon Heads, where they're born with like short bodies, but the eyes are actually on the side of their head. So they have like wild, like deformed shit.
Whoa.
Yes, so they,
Frog people.
Like, yes, like they call them like frog people, but that, or I think they call them like lemon heads or something like that. There might be another nickname for it, but it's like the heads are shaped like a lemon and the eyes are on the side, but they got weird shit.
Like, hey Arnold.
Yep, there you go, like football head type shit. Yeah.
Damn.
All right, so for example, so with Ohio, Michigan, and Connecticut, right? Each of these 3 states, there is a lore about these people existing, but each state has different ways of like, or different origin stories of how they came about. Like, I think it was Ohio, for example. Supposedly there's a scientist named Dr. Crow who actually ran like an insane asylum and was experimenting on people, and eventually after they started mutating and I guess they were saying they was getting like he was injecting something in their heads that was causing them to like, you know, just
Expand.
and go to a size to where their brain started building up fluid. I can't remember the name of it. It was like hyper some shit or whatever. But
Why was he doing that though?
science. Some people just gotta know how things work. Like how some people are with cars, like I gotta know how this brake works. Some people like that with the human body. It's just very, very. This is way more disgusting.
So he would torture people, like, in the name of science.
Yes, in the name of science to learn. That's I suppose that's how it started. And this times too, and I've heard stories about this a lot with doctors. a lot of doctors may be sociopaths because I've heard stories where doctors took risks, but like, I'm gonna try this on this human body that needs to survive the surgery, but it's just like a theory I had, and a lot of times the motherfuckers die on the table, and when it works, they're like, oh yeah, I discovered something groundbreaking. But how many people died for them to get to that point? You know what I'm saying? It's a weird thing.
It's not weird.
I mean, it's was that
That's
just
the risk you gotta take.
Yeah, what's the
How many
saying?
lives you have to take to save 1,000,000 lives?
yeah? What's the saying? Crack a few eggs and make an omelet. I think that's
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
I don't
crack-
agree with that, but I understand the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, I agree with it. That's how we got here. You know, like
But the thing is, I think the thing is how we got here.
a lot of people sacrificed. There was a lot of sacrifices.
There's a lot of minorities got sacrificed for the greater good of science. That's why I'm like, I don't know.
Something had to happen. You know,
So with this dude, Dr. Crow,
we'll be in horses still. Since the aliens were like, hey, if we don't probe you guys know you might still be riding a horse. Aliens like, the Honda Civic you're driving.
we helped you. We helped you.
That's because Raphael took it in the ass back in 1942.
And that helped with the.
That's how you're driving your Honda Civic, right?
And that's why you have internet. I'm like, what? Okay.
we had a study. We got to get in that ass if you guys want to, pump the gas on that Honda Civic.
That's why y'all have Teslas.
Yeah, Tesla. That's a whole nother story. There's a whole nother sacrifice for the Tesla.
All right, let me get back to this shit. All right, so
Bob says only in emergency issues. I think any time where it has to deal with anything medical,
surgery? It's emergency to me.
medical, where you have to make some type of breakthrough, like to really help.
somebody
It has to happen.
gotta take the L.
It has to happen. Somebody has to be the guinea pig.
I got mixed feelings on that, but
It has to happen. Or,
I agree.
yeah.
I agree on that level, but it's who you pick. That's the thing I have a problem with. But let me get back to this shit. All right. So Dr. Crow, right? This dude, he's like injecting some type of fluid in like their heads, and they started to develop. I found a word too. They started to develop hydrocephalus, which is basically just fluid building up in the brain. And he was doing it for years, and apparently the people within it was supposed to be a insane asylum, but I think it was like his mansion or something. But he basically saw it like he built up like these people with these deformities, and eventually they turned on him and they murdered him. They murdered Dr. Crow, supposedly. That's how the story goes. They murdered him and they cut him up and they put his body in separate parts of the house, right? Just put him in different parts of the house, and they burnt the whole fucking house down. It was an insane asylum, but it was a mansion. Like it was basically like his home that he turned into an insane asylum to do experiment stuff. It was burnt the hell down, and
I kind of remember this.
they tried to burn it down. I think they tried to burn it down, but either way, till this day, there's people that have stories of teenagers that like say like they would go out there and they would see like shadows running across like the dark ass player, like
Wearing like a lab coat.
or they would see like this big head people, but only their silhouette shadows on the wall, and saying like, oh, it looks like they're trying to bury something, or it looks like but they're moving around. You only see their shadows, and they saw like there's been stories where people saw, oh shit, I just saw the shadows like of the big head people killing somebody. It might have been Dr. Crow.
They probably watched like a replay of something that happened in real life.
Yes, but it's on the shadows of the wall. It wasn't even like a ghost spirit thing. It was more like, oh shit, it's just going through his reenactment over and over again type thing.
Yeah. That's like one of the glitches. Like let's say something dramatic happens, right? And let's say like you committed suicide, something dramatic that happened. You did it in a crazy dramatic way, and to the point where you actually created like a glitch, almost like you created a GIF of yourself, but a video GIF that loops
Just over and over again.
So you're always looping. You're playing the same scene over again. Let me give you an example. Like this one story, right? This guy, this family, they bought a house, and then they know the history of the house. I said, oh yeah, there was a murder that happened in the house, and somebody committed suicide. So they're like, okay, yeah, cool. Like we don't believe in ghosts, so we'll buy the house. So like they would go into the basement, right? And when they walk up the stairs from the basement, from down up the stairs, they always see like it almost looks like blood splatter, like on the top of like the doorway, like the door, and then on top of the door.
The hell?
But it's like the stairway going up. So they're like, That's weird.
So it's on the door and then above the door?
Above the door as they're walking up the stairs.
Holy shit.
So they would clean it, right? They would clean it, and then like a week later, they see the same blood splat. And they're like, what the fuck is this?
Hey, man.
So they clean it, and then it comes back again. So they're like, okay, something's weird is going on. So then they dug like deeper into like the history of the house. And they found out like the owner, they killed the family, and then he shot himself in the head.
That's why, is that why the
Shot
blood was
himself in the
going
mouth,
up?
yeah.
I was about to say that earlier. I
So
swear.
he shot himself in the mouth, and the blood splattered like boom, like right at the basement part.
Like the door and above. Yeah, I was thinking that. I was thinking about that. That's why I was like the door and above the door. My brain was thinking like, he plugged himself and.
Like, yep. So
I watch too much murder shit. That's
They'll be like, damn. So the dude is repeating his death
Going
over and over again.
That's his eternity.
That's his hell. There. That's his personal hell. He created that shit for himself. He felt that guilt, and he just never moved on. So he just keep on repeating the hell loop. Like if you watch Lucifer on CW or Netflix or whatever,
I gotta catch up on that, man.
when you go into hell, you do a hell loop over and over and over again
eternity.
Not eternity, but until you actually figure it out.
What you did was wrong.
Not just that. It's more complicated. It's like what I think what serial killers go through when they die. They don't just go to hell. They go through like a kind of like therapy session. Like whatever pain they put people in, right? This is what I think what happens. So whatever pain you put people in, you're gonna feel everything like in the afterlife, like what you put them in. You're in their shoes now.
All the pain you've inflicted, yeah.
So all those people that you fucked with, you're gonna feel all that shit, and then you're gonna go through that therapy session for your soul to try to move on.
To understand what you put people through.
Yeah, you don't just burn in hell. You have to go through. I think you go through some type of training program.
I was like torture, but yeah, training program.
Yeah, that is a type of torture because you don't imagine like the pain you inflict on somebody.
Everybody else, that's real shit.
So can you imagine like the pain like a serial killer puts on their victims before they're dying?
It's bad.
And then you have to feel that like legitly. You're feeling the legit feelings and everything what they're going through. Shell shock is purgatory. Yeah, I guess you can say that's like a purgatory.
Purgatory's like a waiting room before you could go in any further.
Yeah, you stay there. You do whatever the fuck you gotta do.
All right, so back with the Melon Heads, right? Okay, so I saw, for example, another state like Michigan that believes in Melon Heads. Their thing with the Melon Heads is that their story is that I think it's an insane asylum was taking care of patients. Like all the origin stories of the Melon Heads are very similar. It always starts off with somebody experimenting on them.
Yeah, back then as well.
And they got out of there. And so this one is kind of similar to where it wasn't just one doctor doing it. It was an entire insane asylum that was doing it to them, where they was experimenting on them. And I guess when they started getting too feral or whatever, they got released into the wild. And that's what he just roamed and survived for all these years. So that's like Michigan's story. Very similar to the first one. But I don't know. Connecticut seems like to be the ground zero of all this shit when it comes to the Melon Heads. Like they got like several stories. All of it takes place in like Fairfield County. I actually went on a Google Earth search yesterday. I looked it up. I was like, okay, because it's supposed to be an abandoned building, and it looks nice for an abandoned building. I just like walked around. I was like, okay.
So they still got like a gardener like cleaning up the place.
It looks clean as hell over there. Like it doesn't look abandoned. Like the grass is cut.
Yeah, so I don't think it's abandoned. It's still owned by somebody privately, and then they have somebody privately taking care of it.
Well, I think it might not be the same type of area. I think the building is still open, but it's no longer a insane asylum because they said it closed down in '95. But it might be a building for a whole nother business now. It might be some other shit because it's clean. It was cars parked out front there and everything. So it's something else now. It's not an insane asylum anymore.
I got a pee so bad.
Oh yeah.
You think we can pause?
Yeah, sure.
Be right back, guys. All right, we're back, guys.
All right. So back to the story. All right. So like I was saying before, Connecticut seems like to be the ground zero of Melon Heads.
Would that be like the correct term to call these people?
I don't know. People with giant heads. I don't know what you would.
Okay, Melon Heads. Yeah. I'm cool with that.
Because I think the reason why they describe it as Melon Heads is just that it's shaped more like a watermelon. It's just like way bigger than the actual.
Would it be like a mountain watermelon?
I don't know.
Mountain Dew? What they call it? Water Dew?
Mountain Dew Red? Is that what you're thinking of?
Water Dew melon? Yeah. Cantaloupe.
All right, so with Connecticut, with their stories a little bit better to me than Ohio and Michigan. With the Melon Heads existing out there, with one of their like a lot of the stories for like the origin of Melon Heads always seems to be that originally the people that came over from Europe and then came over to America and settled in the Connecticut northeastern area. They lived in a village, and it kind of made sense to me because around the time of where that area was doing like Salem witch trials and shit like that. Like they was accusing everybody and anybody of being a witch. Supposedly a family got pushed out the town. And they ran them out the town saying it was witches, and they had to live off in the wild by themselves. And while they was out there living by themselves, they kind of just started to resort to cannibalism, incest, all this other stuff, all because they was pushed out of society. That's one of the stories. That's like, okay, this is Asha's.
Wait, so cannibalism, like, so did they wait for them to die, or were they killing people and then eating them?
As far as I know, it's over time. Like there was stories of where people would run away or go missing, and they would never be found again. And then that's when the lore started. Oh, a lot of those times it'd be like, oh, it's the fucking Melonhead people because
They got blamed for everything.
They took the L for a lot of stuff for people going missing. Like a lot of teenagers started going missing, and they would blame it on them. Who knows if they exist or not? There's been stories, like for example, back in the 1980s.
You think if they existed now, like they would be okay because
No.
the internet would protect them because they're just like everybody else?
Actually, no. I feel like that protection would be better right now than back then. Back then is everybody lived in a bubble. Way more than now.
So they'd be more safer now.
I would say so. They would be protected by the government. I hope so. The government probably experiment on them.
I wouldn't say the government. They'd probably be protected by the people.
The people would be like, hey, I'll protect the Melonheads at all costs. And
Yeah.
Melonhead lives
There
matter.
are people too.
Melonhead lives matter.
There are people. Get off my neck.
And of course, like how America is, people will start making Melonhead t-shirts. Rock band will be named Melonhead. Like, weird shit. Everybody wants to capitalize off
And
of
then
this.
they eat their kids.
Yeah, they eat the kids. It would get crazy.
And then they're like, what?
I'm just doing what y'all want.
This is me.
So up in Connecticut, with the Melonheads, what they were having were
Sound like a band.
Which, right? It does. It sounds like a dope ass band name.
Melon Heads.
Come to the stage, the Melonheads. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sound all fucked up and shit.
Yeah, it sound like
Offbeat and shit.
Like, damn, this is your first day on stage, huh? Okay. All right, so they do have the story too of with the Melonheads out in Fairfield County, which is all this takes place at in Connecticut. They also have the same story where an insane asylum was burnt down, and the reason why it was burnt down is because the inmates that were becoming Melonheads there, they burnt the place down and escaped and lived out in the wild. So they still have the same story out there of what happened in Ohio and Michigan, but they have other stuff too of where, hey, these Europeans came over, lived in America, they got pushed out of society because they was accused of being witches, and they start incest, and then they start giving birth to Melonheads.
So what's like the time frame? Like what year did all this happen?
So when I was looking it up, the lore started with all this stuff when okay, so originally you had like most people, like when America started, everybody was living like in a rural country area, right? And then they started building cities, and then people moved to the cities, and by people I mean white people. White people moved to the cities, and then there's a term called white flight. When black folks are moving to the cities, white folks left and they created the suburbs, right? While white America was living in the suburbs, that's when the lore started. Some people think it started out of fear of people living in rural areas, because like they are off the grid type people anyways for the most part. Consider if you compare it to like that of the city, it's not as many cameras and all that. And like I'm just thinking about as of today, it's a little far behind by the rest of the world. But supposedly the rumors started back when people started living in suburbs and start creating rumors about, hey man, there's like some weird shit going on. Why are kids going missing and and then going back saying like, hey, you heard a story about the witches from back then? They got pushed out of town and they started doing incest. Maybe it's them, like so like that. And it just kind of people ran with it.
You think that's why like their kids they came out kind of funky because of the incest?
Genetically, yeah, I would assume, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Because
think
the bloodline's too close, so then they would make a baby and the baby come out.
Yeah, because like on real shit, like the way the human body is designed, it's supposed to, and whatever, I don't care what anybody thinks about it, people are supposed to, in my opinion, on a scientific level, are supposed to like mix breeds and do all this other stuff in order to like, cause you like, not so much of like a cultural sense of where you can get an identity from, but on a genetic level of where, hey, for this race might have this type of medical problem, but if this other race doesn't have it, then if you combine them together, then this other race that you've created, do they have that same medical problem? I think it's beneficial to do it outside of it, because if you just stick to the same genetic thing that you all have, I don't know, it's not going to operate. I think we just all supposed to just legit, mix it up, man. Have one big orgy. Everybody become something else. Create
And for us
something.
to fix this problem, right, we have to have technology like CRISPR tech in order to fix the genes, make them back to normal.
CRISPR tech's the fast forward way of doing it too. It's the best.
Because like, here's the thing, like with your orgy thing, like if everybody did all that, right, you started mixing like people with different traits and different like type of diseases that carry on your bloodline. So you would eventually create like a lot of human beings that have different type of illnesses and disease and stuff. So you're actually not, you know how they say like don't taint the bloodline, keep the bloodline clean. And once you taint the bloodline, you go off the track.
I think that's
That's
so
when
wrong.
problems starts to happen, because that's when new stuff start to happen, and then the DNA mixed with another DNA, and then it creates like something that we don't know yet. It's like you're just mixing stuff up. That's why like there's some bloodlines where they said, hey, we have to really keep the bloodline clean. If you don't keep it clean, something's gonna happen. It's not like, seeing it like now, like we looking at it like through like the lens of like nobody wants to be called like racist or whatever, nothing like that. But like scientifically, like if you look at it, right, like if you're trying to keep the bloodline clean, you keep that bloodline clean, nothing really happens to that bloodline. Because if you think about it, like if you're trying to create like a perfect species, I'm not trying to say anybody's trying to do this shit, but let's say you're trying to create a perfect species, right? You want to keep the species, reproducing with the same shit. Like the same bunny rabbit's gonna repeat that shit. But if one bunny rabbit, go fucking mate with a fucking lion, he fucked that whole shit up. He created a new species, but then they have to deal with that own genetic, the own DNA. It's modded into something else.
Yeah, that's when you study it. Then that's what I think. Just study.
That's why, like I was saying, like with CRISPR technology, it can help fix that problem.
Of creating. I'm for CRISPR. I don't care what anybody says. Some people kind of sketch on it. I get it. I get it. I get why.
Yeah,
I'm actually behind it.
I'm 50-50 on that shit.
I can see it can be used for nefarious purpose. It can either go really good or really bad, but it's beneficial in some kind of way though for somebody. Like
for the rich.
Oh God, yeah,
it's beneficial for the rich.
Yeah, that's they. Whatever they're doing, they're gonna get it first. But
it's already happening. Like like, cause they're like fuck this fucking pure bloodline. Like I want to have sex with whoever. Like. Get over here, Kanye. I'm just giving an example. Get over here, Kanye. And then, like they want to make sure their kids come out with perfect genes. So they use CRISPR technology, intervene with like their kids' DNA, give them like the perfect gene so they can look a certain way or have certain type of traits and shit. Like they can dunk on people.
Or maybe not have diabetes.
Or not have diabetes or not have like eye problems and shit.
You know what I thought of too a while ago with CRISPR tech? This is just my theory I thought of. I'm not saying this is true. I had a theory that, hey, I think the Nazis... I have a theory the Nazis didn't lose World War II. They just like, we can't win this war, but let's kind of like... Let's kind of like join society and just hide and kind of, create advancements. At one time, or sometimes, I've been thinking like CRISPR tech is this weird way of like the Nazis of World War II. The end goal was always create like a super race, and I think this is like the best fucking chance they got to do it. As far as like, let's create a baby with blonde hair, blue eyes, like the ultimate Aryan race. Like we got the technology now. This is what we was trying to strive for back in World War II, trying to find every type of. This is how Nazis was going around in World War II, trying to find like Indiana Jones type architect type stuff, like this item, trying to create like a super race. I think this might be.
Yeah, they were trying to find all the secrets to the world and stuff.
Yeah.
So they sent out teams looking for whatever secret the world holds, because they know like it ain't no woo woo shit. Like they'll go to a tribe and be like, "Hey, why your monk floating?" They'll be like, "Hey, why that Tibetan monk floating? Tell us why is this happening? Because it defies all the laws of gravity." And they're like, "Hey, they like the physics we know, like we don't really understand it because we're looking at somebody floating." So they'll start to second guess their own theories of how their physics work and shit. So it breaks their whole fundamentals of how all that science work. So then that's when the Nazis, right? That's when they started investigating like throughout the whole world. They started having bases like in Antarctica. They started doing all this crazy shit. Because if you look at the track record, they've been through all these places. Why were the Nazis in Antarctica? There's something going on.
Egypt. There's like
yeah,
the Middle East.
They were everywhere. It wasn't a secret. It's not a conspiracy. This shit really did happen.
They was looking for like the spirit destiny. They was looking for all types of shit.
They were looking at all this crazy shit because they already saw the shit. They're like, oh shit, some real shit's going on, and we need to be on top of this.
They were trying to become gods, and now I think they realize technology is the only way they can do it.
And they figured out time travel. They figured out fucking remote viewing in the future.
They got it, man. They already won. They already won, people.
They hit us up in the future, like with the lady, the CEO of CRISPR technology.
Oh yeah, that one chick, yeah.
Yeah, her last name was Dudna. The last three letters of her name is DNA.
DNA, yeah, that's right.
The fuck is like, what are the odds of that?
They love that.
Dudna, like just like Dunna.
Maybe she pulled a Kanye, got her name legally changed, right?
Yeah, and she said she had that dream where she saw Hitler in her dream, and Hitler, what he asked her, he said, "Hey, tell me everything you know about CRISPR technology." This was probably Hitler, like back in the 40s or 30s.
Communicating in the future.
We're gonna go in the future. We're gonna figure how they manipulated the DNA of humans, and we're gonna get all like the ingredients and how to do this, and then we're gonna start implementing it back in like the 40s.
But they had insufficient tech, and they couldn't do it.
Who says they didn't do it though?
I don't want to think about if they did. I really don't, because I think they won already.
They're here.
I think they won.
They are here.
Right,
walking amongst us and shit.
All right, back to Melon Heads. Let me get back to the shit. You're talking about Nazis and shit. All right, so
did not see that coming.
I did not see. All right, so with the Melon Heads, right? All right, another theory that they have with the Melon Heads in Connecticut is may stem from this term that people call them, called the Maligan. I guess this is the name I'm trying. I think I may have said it wrong, but basically it's supposed to be like a mixed race of people in the Appalachian Mountains, which I'm gonna get to that in a second. All right. So another theory is that there's supposed to be a mixed race of people that lives in the Appalachian Mountains, right? And their ancestry goes back to being supposedly their blood is supposed to be a mixture of like European outcasts, like Europeans who came to America and got pushed out of society, freed slaves, and Native Americans. Like their blood is like a mixture of all that. Just people that's kind of like slaves got freed. Hey, couldn't fit in society. Let's kind of live out there. Hey, we came across some Europeans, Native Americans. They kind of just formed a society and maybe just be a weird like a offspring of that. Where because when people live in an area too long, the inbreeding is gonna happen. And a lot of people don't really think that far into it. But say if you got a guy who's running around sleeping with all these women and got all these kids, how many of them kids in that area are gonna start sleeping with them like with each other? That's what I think will happen with them. And the only reason why I say this too, there's this channel I watch, right, on YouTube. It's a pretty controversial channel. I didn't realize how controversial it was until I was doing research for this topic. But it's called the name of the channel is called Soft White Underbelly. Basically, this YouTube channel is they interview people that consider outcasts of society, from pimps to prostitutes, people that use drugs, and some people consider how they get their stories out of these people unethical. They either pay them or sometimes they'll buy them pizza, something. But you get these people to tell their stories. And you can watch like I said, the channel's called Soft White Underbelly. And they talk to all these people that you hear these stories. Like there's some shows that YouTube channel is not for the faint of heart. Let me just say that, right? Some of these stories are kind of like, holy fuck, people actually grew up and live like this. And they're doing an interview and telling their story. It is crazy as hell. Some people see the channel's trying to expose them or trying to make money off of people's suffering. I can kind of see that, but on the same side, it has opened my eyes to a reality of like people do exist out there that we would never think about that exist. One of the episodes they have is within the Appalachian Mountains, and this guy who runs the channel, he's like a 61 or 62-year-old man who used to be a photographer, but now he's running this YouTube channel. And one of his episodes is he goes up into I think it might be his most highest numbered like viewed episodes. He goes to the mountains and he interviews inbred people in Appalachian Mountains. And it's like nothing. Like, they are so out of touch with the world. They like to go up there. You can watch the YouTube video. He goes up there, goes to the house. I don't know how he got in contact with these people or whatever, but somehow he set up some kind of like meeting to go see them. And he sees people that live in the house, and they have deformities, and they've been surviving off of incest for almost, I think they said like maybe 150, almost 200 years. Like that's how far these people have been removed from society. Where like they got these houses.
They got cross-eye?
I don't know. They have weird shaped heads. The eyes, I ain't gonna say crazy eyes. That's the wrong term to use. They have different eyes. And when he got there in the video, he talks to them. And when they speak back, maybe I'm hard of hearing. You cannot understand what they're saying. It's almost like they have their own language. But the guy talked to him and somebody else that's with them behind the camera. They're going around and they're talking to these people that live in this area. And he's talking to this one family that's supposed to be this inbred society where they're like, hey, yeah, like, he's just trying to understand their ordinary lives and all that. And he gives them pizza, and I think he wants to give them some money. Like, hey, like, guys, I gave you guys a gift. Tell me your story. And he's talked to some of the people around the area or within that house, and they took him around to a spot where, like, and how they talk was, and not to be funny, but like the way they were talking about, like, and then it's just gibber. But they're telling a story about like, hey, I had a younger brother before, but he got killed in a farming accident. Like a machine that we built ran him over and killed him. And this is the machine right here. We still have it. We have not used it since. But he's still speaking in gibberish. And some guys like explain to him. I guess some guys who's familiar with the area is explaining to the guy who runs the YouTube channel. So explaining to him. And then the guy walks some more and he's like, and this is where we buried my little brother. This is his grave. And it's like a little tiny grave too, man. It looks sad as shit. And it just shows that like these people just been surviving off the grid for forever, man, for such a long time.
They all slept with each other,
and they're just kind of like they don't want to conform to society. They don't want to be with society because the world is so far. They have no internet. Like these people have no damn internet, no cell phone. They don't know what's going on in the world. They probably think Truman is still president. That's how far back. Like that's how so far removed from society they are. They just. I think that what I took away from the video when I was watching it is okay. It's sad that these people are kind of outcasts. But I know some people think it's like maybe homeless people, like maybe us modern day people that live with technology, live close to the city, work in the city. We would probably consider like homeless people outcasts of society, which they are. But this is like cranked up to 11 of where these people got no, like, I've even seen homeless people with Facebook pages and cell phones. Like they got some kind of connections to society, but with them, hell no, they had no kind of connection.
That would be like anybody else, like living in a remote location.
Yeah,
like in a jungle or something.
But it's crazy, like how the thing I was trying to figure out too with them living in the mountains from the video I saw was that could they move back into society and be treated normal? Like, would we accept them? Like, are we the problem while they're staying up there, or you know what I'm saying? It's what I don't know.
I mean, what if like they're? I mean, what if they're not struggling or nothing? Like they're actually living.
They're happy.
Yeah,
they're happy as shit up there.
Well, then they're doing it.
Yeah, and that was my biggest
that's just
takeaway.
like us looking at it from our point of view.
Yeah.
Like okay, because we think like we're better than them or whatever, so we feel sorry for them. But then they don't look at it that way because they don't know like what we're doing or anything. They just know what's going on in their community, so they don't look at us like like. What? It's like, what? People feel sorry for us? Like, imagine, like, let's say, like, somebody that's far ahead of us and they feel sorry for us, but we didn't think that. We don't realize it. We're like, wait, people feel sorry for us? Like, what? It's almost like they imagine like them. They'd be like, okay, because they're so used to their lifestyle already, right? So then for them to think like, somebody feels sorry for them, and then they're shocked about that because they don't know. We don't know either, you know? So we can't say like they're actually struggling.
Yeah, that was my biggest takeaway from the video was when I was watching, I felt sorry for them. But then the more I kept watching it, and like, they had like a little dog. They had like dogs and stuff. And you go up to the porch, the mom is there, the sister there, the aunt there, but you don't know who's who or like who's really the mom and all that.
You're
but
just because the whole time like you're watching it, you're comparing it to like
to
our life,
to our regular society. Yeah. To how
that's
we
why,
structured it.
That's why you feel bad.
But then, as the video kept going, and they went inside the house, and you see like two dudes sitting on the couch, and they talk or whatever, and I'm like, damn, these people are happy as shit. Like these people ain't got no care for the world. Like probably stress free. The only thing I worry about is when the next meal's coming, and that's something they can take care of. But other than that, like, I don't know. It was a good eye opener, and
they're good. They've done it for like that long. They're not struggling. They're living their life.
That's what the story with the Melon Heads. I believe that shit. I believe there are some people that if you believe in Bigfoot, you should believe that there's people out there that you do like. I don't think people realize how big of areas in America that we have where people like don't go to. Like, it's either East Coast or West Coast, and a lot of shit in between that is untouched by man. It's maybe became a park or something, but other than that, I mean, so with the story with those guys is that with the Melon Heads in Connecticut, their existence there is kind of like sketch or whatever. There's been stories of I think there was one like in the 1980s after a football game, like some girls like got in a car. And they drove out to like the middle of nowhere. It's like, hey, let's go hunting. Let's go find some melon heads. Let's go find
the
them.
intentions on finding melon heads.
Yeah, they went out there.
Did they die?
It's like an urban legend supposedly. And the girls got the car and they start looking around. And as soon as they walk far enough from that car, they hear the car door slam. And they turn back and they can't see who's driving it. But they see the car going in reverse. And when it turns, all they saw was like a giant. They see like a silhouette of a giant head.
Hey, Arnold.
Driving off with their car. And then and that's it. They was like stuck in the middle of nowhere.
They know how to drive.
They've been watching us.
This is our car now.
They've been watching us, man.
I'll let you read shell shock. I'm going to pee really quick.
Oh, yeah. Do you think? All right. So. Okay. Shell shock says in the chat. Mixed race in Appalachia is kind of an oxymoron. Oh, yeah, it is. yeah, I get it. I'm just going off the story, man. All right, he also says, Shellshock also says, Ether Greenland or Iceland has an app. That way, if you're about to hook up with someone, you could check it first to make sure you're not related because the population is so small. Damn. Hey, look. Don't let that bloodline stay the same. It gets weird. It gets weird. It really does get weird when you stay in the area too long. And so I've heard stories. I know people who lived in the same town their entire life, and they've maybe started dating a girl and found out like, hey, from that grandmother or the auntie or something, hey, that's your second cousin. You need to stop. And like, oh, I did not know that. But that's what happens.
But they didn't stop though, right?
I don't know. They said they did. That's the story they told me.
And then somebody gets pregnant.
That's that. People need to travel more. That's what we're not here to. Humans aren't here to sit in one spot. We're supposed to travel, live life.
Yeah, you're supposed to make like the rule is you're supposed to make a baby with somebody at least 2 states over.
Not to. So mix it up a little bit.
Can't be locally.
Especially if your parent
has to be at least 2 states.
Especially if your family. Oh, Shell Shock in the chat says Roll Tide. Oh, come on, man. Good old Bama. That Bama got a little weird out there with that shit.
Incest. It's the best. Wait, is that the motto? What?
No, I didn't know it was a motto for it. I didn't know it was a motto for that shit.
I made that up. Don't listen to me.
I was about to say, this is news to me.
Incest the best, forget the rest. Top of the man. Let's make a note. Let's not make a sticker.
No. A bumper sticker?
Yeah, anybody ever thought of no, let's go ahead.
Yeah, let's keep moving, man. God, Jesus. Yeah. So pretty much with that, suppose these people exist out there. I think they're real on some level. Just because when I saw that YouTube video of soft white underbelly, and they show that people do exist off the grid, and they maintain a community, and they got their own shit going on out there. They speak a weird language that may be similar to humans, but who knows? This is what I learned about humanity. Just leave these people alone. They happy. They happy. If they start coming down the mountains and fucking up towns, then let's focus on
I
them.
say, here's me. Don't start no shit. Won't be no shit.
That's how it is. Cause
So if somebody comes down the mountain, don't matter if you're a melon head or a bubble head, normal head, bobblehead. It don't matter. If you come to start problems, guess what? You have to defend yourself. You guys gotta fight.
fight the people from
If
the
they're
mountain
gonna if they want to hurt you, hey, guess what? You got permission to defend yourself.
people. Yeah, but if they just
That's anybody. But if they don't hurt you, they don't harm you. This goes for anybody. Nobody's messing with you. Leave them alone.
leave me alone.
It's common sense. You don't fuck with people nobody did nothing to. You don't mess with them.
Yeah,
Leave them alone.
No matter how strange their society is, if they're not hurting you, just let them alone.
Yeah, if they did nothing to you, this goes with anything. This can clean up this whole racial issue. If you have a problem with somebody, but nobody did nothing to you, you don't mess with people. That's it. Nobody did nothing to you. Don't fuck with them.
Right.
Leave people alone.
But I say this to say this. I think as a whole, it just shows to go. It goes to show that. All right, in my opinion, I think these people do exist out there. I don't know if they look exactly like Melon Heads, but I do believe that people live off the grid and there's incest going on in their own little community. Right? I believe that shit 1,000%.
Yeah, it's happening. Don't gotta post it on Instagram though.
No, you got to. No. If you show my Instagram, their brains will probably explode.
Yeah, people in the community
What?
know, like, when the incest is, like, real close, when they look at the kids, they're like, hey, he has a lazy eye.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
What is this twerking I'm seeing on IG? What is...
Uh-oh.
Why are my pants shrinking? What is going on? Why is she shaking her butt so fast? I do see it as, like, a cautionary tale, because, like I said before, earlier within the story, is that these people existing out there, the fear of their existence didn't start until people started living in suburbs, and they were so far removed from once living in the rural area, moving into the city, then moving to the suburbs. That's when rumors started about, hey, these weird ass mountain people living out there, like these weirdos. Like, why don't? More than likely, is the story probably started because it was picking on poor ass people that still live in areas that they moved from. Like, yeah, we used to live out there, and then we moved to the city, and then we moved to suburbs. And them weirdos are still living out there. They probably fucking each other. Like, shit starts. Like,
And then the dude jumps out like, yeah, so what?
so what? We ain't bothering y'all.
So what? I fucked my mom twice. Grandma, get over here.
I got a beautiful family. And
She
then,
got perfect ankles. Grandma, show your ankles. Grandma's like, stop.
thanks, sis.
Stop it. Shows her ankle off.
He'd be like, thanks, sis. I was like, what? That's your sister. Well, how's that even?
Camera's off. Clap.
Cut it.
Clap, 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 clap. Like, what's that noise?
But that's my
Roleplay. And cut.
But that's my biggest takeaway from things. Like, man, they chilling out there. Let them chill. Whatever. They ain't hurt nobody.
Yeah, they're not hurting nobody.
But I would be scared as shit if they ran up on me, though. I ain't gonna lie. All right, let's keep it real. I ain't they ran up on me.
That goes for anybody.
Yes. Yes.
Anybody that runs up on you, you should be afraid.
Somebody ran up on me.
Because you don't know what's going to happen.
Somebody ran up on me 3 weeks ago at a gas station. 4 o'clock in the morning. Scared the fuck out of me.
Somebody you know?
Hell no.
Okay, it's not scary. That's a scary
I was
situation.
pumping my gas like, hey, man. I was like, oh, fuck. And he's like, hey, man, want to buy my CD? I'm like, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, stop.
Yo, that shit.
That's just
it's
scary,
real.
man. Like, don't run up.
It's, man, like, I respect, like, the hustle and shit.
But there's a time. What's your hour? What's your office hours? So you gotta make some hours of when and when not to do it.
Because I went through the same shit. It was like 4 in the morning. And I was, I'm just getting, like, my normal shit before work. 4 in the morning. Dude comes out of nowhere. He parked his car super loud. Comes out of nowhere trying to sell his CD. I was like, it's Monday.
It's 2021.
It's Monday. It's like 4:50 a.m. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you have to be on drugs to be like that. Like, motivated to promote your album.
Nah, I ain't gonna say drugs. You struggling probably.
No.
He's like, people get desperate when they get poor.
Early that morning?
They do weird shit. That's my process.
That's a bad time to try to market because people are still in sleep mode.
But, hey, what's that term? Like, money never sleeps? I mean, this is real, but...
Drugs don't sleep.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But that's my Melon Heads
Shell
story.
Shock says, music and hustle never sleeps.
Yes.
You should have
No
just
shit.
bought my EP, man. Like the one time I was in Vegas, right? I was in Vegas and this dude, they were giving out CDs. You know how they always like throw out CDs and shit?
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, I'll take it.
Good old Vegas.
I took the CD. I thought it was free. The dude chased me down.
Hey.
The whole bridge, like,
Hey.
I was like, hold on, it's not free.
Hold on, hombre. What the fuck?
Like, okay, then here, take it back. Like, why you hand it to me?
Man, it's $5.
I told you, like, I'm trying to think like promoter style. I was like, dude, like nobody knows who you are, right? If you're trying to promote shit, why are you trying to sell? You're supposed to let people
for
listen
free.
to you.
You got to take the L on it.
Yeah, if you want
make it
people
free.
to hear what type of music, if they like it, they'll come back.
It's called free sample. Like how do you
Yeah.
go to grocery stores? Like, oh, what are these little sausages? And you bite those.
Exactly. You can't sell them some shit you don't know about.
Got a little toothpick in the sausage. Like, what? Wait, what aisle is this? And then you go buy the sausage.
Yeah.
I went to a winery one time where he was like had beer samples, like a winery / brewery. It was like, hey, try this beer sample. And I took a sip out of the cup and I was like, what aisle is this? Oh, that's aisle 6. Bet. And I bought a case. I was like, that's how you
That's
do.
how you
Now,
do it.
That's like the most simplified way of explaining it. And
That's how you're supposed to market shit.
You just gotta sample your shit
You
first.
can't sell some. It's like selling you like a fucking question mark box,
That's all it is, man.
right?
I mean, that shit does work on a dark web box shit, but
Yeah,
That's
that's different.
different.
That's different.
But
But
that's
you're,
different,
out,
though.
you're
Yeah.
out in public, like here, buy my CD. You don't know me, you just buy it.
and you're scaring me at 4:00 in the morning.
Like, no, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm
I
scared.
already don't want to go to work, so my first reaction would be like, no. I don't even want to be out here at 4:00 in the morning. Get away from me.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, hey, get off me, man. Like, here, take it back. He was like, yeah, you're supposed to buy it. Like, don't hand no. I want to say, don't hand no people your CD. Like, you're doing it wrong. Like, you have a lot to learn.
Who's your
bro.
marketing team? Do you have a marketing team?
Yeah, I was like, you're doing it wrong, man. And then he happens to be Wiz Khalifa. Just playing. My story's not that cool.
But that's it for the Melon Head people, man. They out there, they cool probably. They probably chill.
All right, we're getting to the dead internet theory. About to blow your brains apart. Shell Shock says the SoundCloud kids have no fucking clue on how the system is supposed to work. And at work and are fucking it up. I used to record my DJ sets and send it to people as promotions. Yo, Shell Shock, you do all that DJ stuff, man. I want to hear your stuff, man. You're doing all that music stuff. You're doing it on PC though, right? I remember it. We were talking about it. You said you DJ'd on a PC, something like that. I remember. I see you. Or you have like some stuff on SoundCloud? Is Bob still in here? I know Bob knows a bunch of people on SoundCloud. Bob knows. But we'll start as soon as Chris comes back. I'm gonna start the dead internet theory, and I'm gonna go through all this shit about the internet from the Illuminati pirate. He just flushed the toilet, by the way. I'm gonna cut all this out. I'm not gonna add it. So I'll just wait for him. Oh, Bob says no. Bob's a liar. Bob knows all the SoundCloud guys. We're just talking about SoundCloud rappers. You know any SoundCloud rappers?
No. I don't hang out with those people.
What do you mean those people?
Those black mother. No, I'm joking. No, no, I don't. I don't know anybody that does that shit. That's kind of. I don't know. That's not a very.
It's how it all started, man. But I think music now is all made by robots now. Shell Shock says yeah, HP instead of Mac. Oh, like HP PC.
Yeah.
My stuff is still on a computer, so I can try to send you 4-hour recording of mine. I don't know how you're gonna send me that.
That's a big ass file.
Is there a place you can share that we can just jump on there and just,
Reddit. Put it on Reddit.
put on Reddit, man. Put like a
I
little.
don't know if that's possible. I don't know.
Put a little snippet. Put like a little like a 30-minute teaser. If it sounds good, I'll listen, man.
Shellshock says you already know who it is. You have one song. I don't know who you are. I'm lost right now. It's 10% beer skipping it.
Hey, speaking of songs, I used to have like a MySpace music page.
Oh my god, man! Yeah,
I had like 5 original songs on there. One song was a slip and slide on the pink pole, some shit like that. It was like a stripper and shit. It was about a stripper.
I remember you were doing music at one time. Yeah,
Yeah, it was fun as shit, man.
I used to follow you on YouTube for that shit. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I produced some people's songs, man, and I always made them sound better than my shit. But it's all about like the talent, not about the producer.
That's real shit.
Yeah, I did like some good stuff for a couple guys.
Can we do a vote right quick?
What's the vote?
The vote is, what is a better social media platform? Facebook or MySpace? MySpace, 1000%. Man, the music you can pick for your shit, the background you can change. Like you can be more creative with your shit. Facebook is just
I'm gonna have a theory about that Facebook.
a NSA sanctioned spy company at this point. This real shit. They work for the G men.
Yeah,
MySpace was kind of like, hey man, you know what you want? Top 5.
I have a theory on that, and then we'll get started.
Okay.
All right. So the dead internet theory. Right. So this theory is that most of the internet is fake. A lot of the internet that we see right now, it's basically like all the stuff we're seeing is like 4, 5, 10 sites that we all go through, right? But the internet is not actually that big. It's only like 4 to 10 sites that we go through like regularly. Like everybody goes to. Like
it's very tiny.
For example, Yahoo, Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, what else? Twitter, and then some movie review sites. Like that's pretty much it. Like what other sites did you go through? Like it's not like back then. Remember when the internet was real? When we went to sites like eBums World.
That's all we had.
The underground. What's that shit? Where we could play games and shit. It was something underground.
Arcade Coffee Arcade.
That was one.
Coffee Arcade, which is like a flash games that you could play.
Flash Radium was another one.
Yes, this is before YouTube.
This was back then when the internet was real.
Real.
It was still made by real people. It wasn't manufactured because
no commercials. There was none of that shit. No ads.
If you think about it now, right? Name like 5 top websites that you go to every day, and you don't go to any other sites. One would be like YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit,
Facebook.
For
me, I still
Reddit,
bullshit. But
and then what else? That's just like 5 websites that everybody go to.
I would say Pornhub.
You can add like porn sites too, right? But there's not more than 10 websites that actually
everybody goes to. That's real shit.
Yeah, because like if I were to make like a website, like a blog, right? Nobody would go there.
Fuck no. I know a lot of people doing blogs and nobody goes to it.
Right. So like if you think about it, the internet is pretty much dead. It's only like the main couple sites that people go through too, like TikTok and all that shit. And then that's all it is for like social media. Social media and then like shit like for shopping. Like the main sites like Amazon. Stuff that people buy clothes from like H&M.
I probably say like eBay still kind of hold them up.
Forever 21. Like those couple websites, then that's it. There's no other real legit websites like me and you were to make.
That's real shit. I never thought about that, but it's real shit. We don't really go to anything else.
Because back then, long time ago, when the internet was still fresh, people were able to express like their own shit into like what they actually like, and then they put it on the internet.
Yeah.
Like if let's say you like Dragon Ball. This was back then. Like I remember there was a website on Dragon Ball.
Dedicated Dragon Ball Z, right?
Dedicated Dragon Ball Z. It's probably different from what you know, because this is when we're in LA, but there's like a website on Dragon Ball where some dude had the comic book for the whole Dragon Ball series. But this was like back in like 93, 94 and stuff.
So he was getting pictures of the manga and then put them
up? And it was all free. And I would take the pictures, I would print it out, and then I'd color that shit.
Okay. That's cool. Okay, that's different what I was thinking. I'm thinking like
And then I would trade it for like comic books. Like for this dude, he actually had legit Dragon Ball comic books, and he'll trade it for a printed picture of like Goku. I was like, yeah, let me get that comic book.
Oh, damn. You was hustling back then.
Yeah, I was like, give me that shit. Your shit's real.
Take this thing I printed off.
I found this on the internet. But this is back then when the internet wasn't available to everybody and shit. He was seeing shit like, oh, shit, he could Super Saiyan. What? You know?
I believe this because back in the day, me and a friend of mine, when the internet was still new, this is when I started doing hustling shit, right? with the hentai stuff, and there's like a lot of hentai Dragon Ball Z videos going around. We used to print off pictures and we used to sell them in middle school. We used to sell them in middle school, like hentai pictures. We made like $5 off of a damn picture of Chi banging like Goku, but dude, people were like kids in school, like, yo, give me this hentai thing. Like, our high school was weird. Like, it was.
Let me get that Chi on that Goku.
It was very strange, but we still like hentai pictures. We was banking off that shit.
But nowadays, people in school now, what they're doing is OnlyFans.
Oh, that's it. That's the new way.
Or whatever the fuck these kids are doing.
OnlyFans is too powerful, man.
Yeah.
I heard it's been around for a while, but is now gaining that steam.
Yeah, back then, like with the real internet, like the Gen Zs now, they never experienced a life without the internet.
That's all they know.
The Gen Zs, they were literally born into like the hands of the internet.
They're gonna master that shit before we ever could.
So they never knew the life before or after it because they were born like
that's all they know.
When the whole shit was popping.
That's all you know.
So they know like the whole shit with the social media. But back then, before all that shit, there was no social media. So like the sites that you would come across, like back then, it'll be sites that where people they would express like their passions with their hobbies. They would express the feelings, their thoughts. No, even before all the Tumblr shit.
Oh, before that too.
Yeah, before all that, because that I will say Tumblr and MySpace and Facebook. That's like the start of like social media. Yeah. So before the start of all that social media, you would get real legit sites made from real humans. Not no fucking fake site that was created by like 100 people and. A fucking.
It's a team. Is it like there was like nowadays? It's like there's a team behind it. Where back then it's like one man solo job.
It's a one man army. Where they really express like their feelings about it, what they feel about a foot-long sub. Way back then. Fry's Electronics and shit. Like
Fry's, man. Is that just
like the people? Well, it's dying. Like
That's what I heard a couple years ago. It was kind of dying out.
The one up in. Was it Decatur?
Kennesaw?
No, not Decatur. It was up north somewhere, Georgia. I went there like one time, and then they closed down.
Oh, God.
It was too big.
Because Amazon, thank you.
Yeah.
She closing motherfuckers out.
Was too big, and you can't even imagine like the rent you got to pay for 1 month to house something that big to sell electronics.
Fry's is big as shit, man.
Nobody's buying because they're finding it cheaper online.
Saving gas, ain't got to deal with traffic, ain't got to stand no line. Like people, like some people were like, fuck that. I'll wait 2 days to get it instead of like having to drive there and get it. Like, it's a weird thing.
Yeah, so like back then, like nothing was filtered for you. Like there was no algorithm that based like what they wanted to show you. Like, you can see whatever you want to see. You're not forced to see nothing. Because there wasn't an algorithm that followed every single individual that was online. Back then, you're free. You're free to surf the web and not being followed. You're not being tracked. You can search whatever freely. Nowadays, you can't really do that now. It's almost like
you're like, oh shit, I was thinking about socks earlier. Why am I seeing this ad?
Yeah, you're surfing shit now. Now they're predicting what you want, and you're like, actually, I kind of want that. Mm-hmm. Scary.
It's very scary. But I think most people realize that's what it is, and most people don't care.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because they don't care anymore because it's all about convenience, and everything is about convenience right now. Get the news like
instantly
fast. Like if it's bad news, everybody's gonna talk about it, but then later they'll forget about it. And I'll give you an example about forgetting about news that used to be crazy. Will be like the Gabby Pepetito.
Oh man, that shit kind of fell off quick.
It fell off, right? And the dude, he's still gone.
Actually, I just saw something earlier today. I think it's bullshit, but somebody's camera in front of the house, because everybody has cameras in front of the house now, may have caught him riding a bike through their subdivision.
Why would he do that?
I don't know, but I think it's bullshit. But still,
he does it like a normal person, so he can fit in any category.
Maybe it might be him, it might not. I don't know. It's just, but in the day and age, we got tech like that,
right?
I mean, I don't know.
But that's just like one example of how that story kind of fell off of the main media news. Is there being talked about in the news? I don't watch, so that's why I'm asking.
It's not the top story anymore. Right now.
So they moved on. Definitely.
No, not really. They're still upkeeping with it, but this guy's been missing for so long, and granted, it's only been a couple, like, what's it, a month? The news ain't really worried about that. Like, the world moves like this now. The world's like this to the point where it's like, hey, Gabby Petito, that was sad. What happened? Da, da, da. I think a lot of that thing, a lot of steam got pulled out of it when minority communities came in. So like, man, y'all don't put this much effort in for minorities missing. So why y'all worried about her so much? And I think it forced them to kind of like, okay, let's.
Oh, yeah. I thought about that too.
Talk about it.
I thought about all that, and it's all because it's whatever the internet sways in whatever direction of what's gonna hit harder, it'll sway in that direction, and then it will shoot people in that direction. They will give you links and stuff. They'll show you. They'll put stuff on your Facebook to where you're looking at it to where you're seeing everything about Gabby Papatito. You know. But then, like, okay, like, that's why when somebody told me about it, I was like, okay, a missing case. Okay, so what makes this missing case so different from all the other missing cases? Because there's so many fucking missing cases that's happening. Crazier that's even more weird.
Crazier ones.
Yeah, and I'm
way
like,
crazier.
Then I was asking, like, why is this one so much different than all the other crazy-ass missing cases that's fucking more bizarre? Why did this one get the steam? You know, so then you start to think about it. Like, okay, the internet, they kind of almost decide what is gonna pop off or what's gonna flop or shit.
Like what we want you to care about more.
Right, and then like let's say like you get like an argument on Twitter about like this missing case, and then it blows up, and then it catches steam. People start sharing it, and then real people start sharing it, not just bots, because bots they're there.
So wait. Okay.
They're there to create and cause chaos, but then when the real people start to share it, guess what? Guess what, guys? We have a story now. So now we're going to talk about this missing case of Gabby. That's why that Gabby case blew up.
So do you think it was like bots that kind of like butting heads on social media, or is like just
it's always bots involved in it
to get an argument started, and then real people jump in.
Real people have to jump in and then see it for themselves, and they'd be like, oh shit, we have to share this now. Because if you think about this story, right, this missing case, it is crazy. Oh, yeah. But stuff like this, it happens so frequently.
That's all the time.
That's why I was saying, okay, why out of all the missing cases, why did this one catch the most steam? That's when I started to think like, okay, maybe something with the algorithms is it they said, hey, we have to blow this story up. So then I started to think like, okay, this shit might all be manufactured. I'm not saying it's fake, but I'm saying manufactured in like a way to persuade people to talk about it more and spread it.
I agree with you 1,000,000% because I remember when you told me that we was going to do an episode about Gabby Petito, I was like, oh fuck. I was like, everybody's talking about this shit. Like I was like, what else can we bring to the table? Because it hasn't even been a week and it's been ran into the fucking ground.
Right. It's almost like you're forced to talk about it.
And I was like, oh God, I really don't want to talk about it. But when I thought about it, I was like, it's a very good cautionary tale on how relationships that don't work and how hard people try to like fake it till they make it. And that's what I feel like where her thing was, where at least where we did an episode about it, I wanted to drive it in more into that direction. Like not so much like, oh, she's missing, just kind of like just more like a cautionary tale, like, hey, like, if the shit's not working out, don't keep trying to fake it online to make everybody else believe it. Because who are you trying to fool, yourself or everybody else? Because it seemed like that was what she was trying to do a lot. And this motherfucker, he went with that shit in the beginning. I don't know what his problem was, but it seemed like she was always putting out stuff of them being in a relationship. But why you gotta do all that?
You're saying like you feel like the relationship was fake.
Yeah. That was. I feel like it was like they was already struggling as a couple, and then I do feel like as when people do that, like. In the digital age that we live in, sharing a failed relationship on Facebook and to make it seem like it's really, not Facebook, but just social media in general, to make it seem like it's very like upheld and everything's fine, everything's dandy. This is the new age of, hey, I'm going to get pregnant and just so we can stay together. Of that thing like, hey, if I have a baby, maybe we make like, there's the term of relationship baby where some kids are born because, one person was trying to make the relationship work, and even a baby's existence doesn't make it work. But it's like they try to have a kid to make it work, and then that still doesn't. That ain't got nothing to do with the relationship. Like the relationship was going to be doomed to fail to begin with. Bringing a child into it was not going to change it. I feel like social media is that type of way of where, hey, this is like the new age of hey, like let's just show the world like how we are, and if the world loves us, then maybe we should make it work. But that's not how the shit works.
So you think like
It comes
that's
from the
what she was
inside.
doing?
I think on some real. I think there was problems for a long time, and she was just faking it on Instagram or whatever the hell she's putting on the ship at. It was never going to work with him. It clearly wasn't going to work. It seemed like she might have been trying to try, but we saw what that got her. So that's just my opinion on it. Too many people trying to pretend like that shit's all honky dory online instead of either getting the fuck away from that person.
I think like anybody like with mental issues, like if you know like the partner has mental issues, and then like let's say for example you have mental issues too, you know that shit doesn't work.
I don't know. It's
Like if two people have mental issues like that, you already know that's like a chemical for some bad shit that's gonna happen.
yeah, two people that need help. That's not.
So like anybody like if you date, they're on some type of medication for their brain or something mental. You already know something is wrong already. Like you have to be careful because you don't know. Like let's say you meet them at a stage where they're always medicated, but you never met them when they're not medicated.
Yeah.
So when you see them when they're not medicated, they'll be like, "Who that?"
It's a whole different being in
Who
this
that
body.
is? Yeah. Who the fuck is that? Right?
Who is this and where you from?
Yeah. And then like, yeah, it's wild.
No,
Scary.
I agree. No, that's how the internet is. I feel like a lot of times too, the thing with the internet, and this is the problem that a lot of people starting to realize too, is that the internet is trying to dictate. I was about to say dictate
Canceled.
like how our relationship is supposed to be, how a woman is supposed to look, or how like it's setting the standards of like trying to tell everybody else how things are supposed to be a lot of times too. That's why Instagram is getting hit with a lot of problems with I guess like with the rise of suicide with like female teenagers and all this other stuff. I think social media is horrible, but at the same time though, social media is it's the only way to promote your brand if you got a business running. Well, who the fuck does commercials anymore? Safe Auto. Nobody does that shit anymore. Just pick up the phone.
State Farm has
free.
some bangers.
Yeah, they do.
I love State Farm commercials
Yeah, they're good.
because they get the
I like Liberty Mutual.
fuck is that?
I don't know if that's like an insurance company. Liberty.
Yeah, they got that little.
The EMA, the Luma, what do you call them?
Yeah, but State Farm has
Lima?
like they get my comedy.
They understand me.
Yeah, they get my comedy. That's why I was like, okay.
It's
State-
very dry. Yeah, it's very dry
and,
shit.
and funny shit is I do have State Farm insurance.
Oh, they got. That's all.
I like they get me. Like, the commercials is funny. Like
That dry humor is good. You know what?
yeah, they get me. It's funny. All right, so with this whole the death of the internet or the internet already being dead. So what the internet is trying to do, or the artificial intelligence, they try to get people into the same community where they're trying to get you guys all on the same page. Like they get you guys becoming like an echo chamber. Like if they're saying something that's this way, they want people to repeat it that way. You know, like the echo chamber, like, hey, so-and-so is this way. Like you're going to be like, hey, so many people saying that this is this way, so I'm going to start saying it's this way. You know, so it goes against like let's say you have your own intuitions where you're thinking something's wrong, right? But you second guess your own intuition because you're seeing like 1,000 other people saying this other way. So you go against your own intuition because it doesn't go against like it. Whatever you're thinking, it goes against like the majority crowd. So you're like. Then you start second guessing your own shit.
Maybe everybody else is right, but not me.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm wrong.
yeah, it's like that. Like we had this situation like when I was like in school, like in tech school or whatever, and there was this situation. We watched this video where this entrepreneur, like he owns a big company, right? Then he, like what he did, they did challenges for like people that's gonna work for him. Like what he did with his future employees, he did a challenge. They're like, hey, he said, if you eat out of this trash can, I'll give you the job.
Oh, did everybody do it?
And then a lot of people like they did that shit because they're so desperate for the job. They didn't believe like in their own skill. They're like, hey, I want to work for this company. Like I'm gonna give you an example. Like let's say you're working for like a Google company, and then the CEO of Google was like, hey, if you eat out of this trash can, you can get the job.
With
So the people, like, they were eating out the trash can because they want the job. So they did it, and then my teacher, like, he paused the video and shit, right? And then he said, "Hey, like, would you guys eat out of this trash can for the job?" I was like, "No."
That's a good question.
I said, "Fuck that." Like, if a company makes you eat out of a trash can for a job, I don't want to work for that company.
Fuck no, because if that's the worst they're gonna like. If that's what they're doing to get you to get your foot in the door,
right?
What are they gonna ask for when you're there?
I'm not gonna fucking sell my soul. Like, oh man, fuck you and your stupid fucking trash can. Like, if you think like I will stoop that low to work for a company like that, get that shit out of my face. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you're Google, Apple, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna fucking eat a fucking pizza out of. I don't even care that trash can is super clean. I'm like, fuck it. Like, you want to put me on that level? Like, hey, I'm going to eat out of your fucking trash can to get that job.
It's like, even you said, like, even if it's a clean trash can, I
don't give a fuck. It's just the whole mentality behind
the psychological process of, like, we know trash cans are a place of putting waste at. I don't care if it's clean or not. That's where trash goes out from.
Right.
So
they're like, you want this job? You got to eat out of the trash. I'm like, fuck you. Fuck Google. Fuck all that shit. Yeah. I was like, fuck that.
But they do weird shit like that. It's almost like the fraternity hazing type shit. Like, hey.
So weird. They think like, oh, they have this much power. They're like, okay, like, you're a piece of shit. You will eat out of this shit so you can work for me. I'm like, fuck you.
So so in your class, did they ask everybody in the room, and how many people was like down with that shit?
All of them.
They was down to do it.
All of them.
See, that's the problem.
I was the weird kid.
Too many. No, you.
I was like, fuck it. I ain't gonna eat out of
shit. You were the.
Yeah, I was like, man, I'm not.
Shout out to you, man.
Like, I don't care. Like, I have my own dignity. I only live here for so long. I'm not gonna fucking sell out to my own soul, you know.
I still gotta look in the mirror, man. Like, come on. I still gotta look at myself.
So you don't want that Google job? I'm like, fuck you. That's what I want to say to the teacher. Like,
but that's what
shit out here. You shouldn't even do this shit.
But that's who they want to hire. They want to hire drones.
Yeah,
that's what they want, man.
I'm not a fucking robot, man. Like, don't play that shit with me. I play that shit on you. Like,
how badly do you want this?
I'm the one to do the trash trick. I do the trash thing. I'm just playing. I wouldn't do that. I would never do that.
Yes.
I wouldn't do that to my people. Not in this lifetime. Maybe 2,000 years.
I think he was gonna say so.
2,000 years. I'm like, hey, you want to work for me? You gotta eat out of this trash.
That's what I said earlier. When you said like I would never do that, I was like, yet. I was like, yeah.
I would never do that. My soul was. Man. Nope, I wouldn't do that, people. Because I am people, so you gotta look at yourself like that too. Like,
you people, we are people.
Yeah, like, who you know what's better than anybody else, right?
Hell no, man.
Fuck that.
Some trash ass people that are rich.
Like, play tug of war with somebody who's like wealthy, and then you play in tug of war. Then if you lose, you fall into a pit. You know, quit game.
All right, that's it.
Yeah.
The end.
Come on. Okay, how much you worth now, Mr. Google? You just died by a homeless man that's stronger than you.
That did pull-ups on a kid's playground on a jungle gym or some shit.
So you gotta think of like
got swallow.
Yeah, you gotta think of like these layers like in people. Everybody, they have their own shit. Nobody's ever above anybody.
Nah, man.
Ever. Once you think like that, like you become like something that you wish you never became.
Man. It's crazy too, man, because in the society that we live in, there's so many people that is just like in the world that we live in, because being on top means that you have to like basically cut everybody's throat to get there. But within the process of getting there, how many people you've burned just to get there, that by the time that you get to the top and you're like a billionaire or whatever, I think on some level or any kind of thing that your lack of humanity goes away, because you had to go through the trials of dehumanizing everybody else or seeing everybody just like pawns to your game to get to the top. That when you're there, you kind of like you forget where you started. Like you forget that you was, I don't know, you started your shit in a basement or garage or some shit. You know, when you finally get through this rat race, you do forget that's where you started. But it's because you had to chop off heads a lot on the way up. And I think getting to the top and being successful in America is a weird way of where it dehumanizes you on some level, because people forget where they come from all the time.
That's when you gain like some type of little bit of power, like that you have over people, and then that's when people forget where the hell they came from.
Yeah. Just a little taste too. It's not even big. It's like a little beep boop, like a little dee doop.
Beep
like
boop, supervisor.
Beep boop. Yeah, exactly. Like low level shit. Like I'm floor manager. Beep. Oh, you motherfuckers.
Oh, I can change your schedule.
Like, bro, you were just working this shit with me last week. What happened?
Oh, you like the weekends? Guess what? No more weekends. Power.
You want to work holidays too? Cool.
You go from that to Jeff Bezos.
Hey, dude, the evolution is quick. You blink and you might miss it. I promise you.
Who's the cleanup crew for the yacht?
Oh,
They're
that's
late.
fire all of them.
You know, like owning a yacht is like owning like a hotel.
Oh, it's
just a
a
lot
business.
of upkeep.
Because I heard sometimes they rent it out and shit.
Yeah.
Make money off of that.
I'm gonna take a leak and then I'm gonna finish this internet story.
All right, I got this too.
All right, guys, we're back.
Hola,
hola, ¿cómo estás? All right, back to this dead internet theory. Okay, so like a lot of the shit that's been going on with the internet, people thinking about stuff that's weird that's happening with the internet. Like, let me tell you one thing you guys can also look up, right? Mm-hmm. The stuff that you research on your phone, if you go back and you research that same shit on your computer, completely different.
What do you mean?
Like, and this didn't hit me until like when I heard this guy say this shit, because one time, right, when I was researching about the Freemasons,
yeah,
the information that I got on my phone while I was researching at work, when I went home, I researched on the laptop, completely different information. I was like, where's that fucking page that I was researching on my phone? Completely different internet. It's almost like two different internet. It's like we're not on the same page.
They swapped it out.
Yeah, like here's like another thing. Like you guys can also test this shit out too. Like, cause we're saying like how the internet is dead, it's fake. It's like it's just a mixture of what they want to show you. And what I'm saying, like the people that's controlling everything, like they're controlling the whole marketing, everything, what they want to advertise to everybody and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like you can look up this shit for yourself. You can go like the most popular websites or whatever. You can look at all the comments on your phone while you're on your phone, right? You can look at all the comments, look at the likes. And then if you go on your PC, look at that same shit, you'll see different amount of likes. You see completely different comments. You'll never even find a comment that you know, let's say there's a comment that you like that you really agreed on. Yeah. If you look at that same comment, if you try to find that same comment on your computer, you won't find it.
It's two different worlds. It's like two different worlds or some shit.
Yeah, it's like a completely different website. Like, okay, like this shit, it's different. So you guys can test that for yourself and see if, like, let's say like somebody has like 1,000 likes on when you're on your phone, right? And then you look at it on your PC, it's like, oh, it's actually 10,000 likes. Like it's completely different, you know? A different completely internet. Like another thing is like, let's say you type in like a pizza joint on your computer. This is why I'm saying that the internet like is dead, because the internet is not as big as what we think it is.
No, it's very small. We get like a slither.
Yeah. Because let's say like you type in local pizza joints, right? And then you go on Google, you type in local pizza joints. The Google said, hey, we found 39,000 different pizza joints around your location. Like, what the fuck? That's a lot of pizza joints. But as you keep going down the pages, like the pages end up to be like, okay, we found 200 pizza joints. Then you'd be like, okay, where's the 39,000 that you guys were talking about?
Yeah, for real.
It's fake. That shit's fake. They don't really have all those fucking pizza joints. Like, Google found you 200 pizza joints, not no 30,000 bullshit.
I wonder why they do that though. Is it just because like the amount of advertisement they do it based off of advertisement or something?
It's like a pump fake, or like a flex and shit, like to make people keep using Google.
We got all these results, but here are the probably 5 you're gonna look at.
Here's 40,000 results, but there's only really 100 to 200 results. Like, legit.
How many people, like, when we go, like, look up shit on Google, which I do every day, how many people go past the first page?
Nobody.
So
they can say, like, we found 100,000 results.
Here's
but how
5.
many people even go to page 2? Yeah, you can ask anybody. Who goes to page 2? Nobody.
I did it a couple times, even doing research for the show. Shit's no man's land.
Nobody goes to page 2.
Ain't nothing out there, man.
Meanwhile, like in my house,
I know
I'm on page like 50. I'm like, hey, this shit's trash. They're lying. There's nothing.
Okay, let me read the chat right quick.
Of course, Bob goes to page 2. She's like a Liberian lady. She's old school. She's like a fucking Lannister or something. You know, she's ancient.
I saw that. So Bob says in the chat, I do. Meaning she goes to the second page and she says, because first couple pages can't be trusted. I've heard some people say that too, where
first couple of pages, right? It's verified pages. If you think about it, let's say you type in pizza, you get like legit pizza place like Pizza Hut verified, Domino's verified, Papa Hut, Papa John's, Papa John's verified, right?
Papa Hut, yes. I feel like you gotta pay for that ad space though, man. That shit ain't free. I would assume.
Yeah, it's all money. Like you pay for the ads, and then they're trying to show people the ads. They try to keep people stuck in the loop. They don't want you guys going out of your box, man.
Shell Shock says he says in the chat, wasn't this proven with Google? Like it was algorithms to tip biases. I did hear about that too. Yes, it goes towards biases of where if this is the people that have searched the most for it, then hey, this is what you get. That's why I assume maybe it was how Google ran it. I don't know. Google's weird. Google does manipulate a lot of stuff because if you're going to be the ultimate source of people's research, because it used to be Yahoo at one time. Yahoo used to be like the big search engine back in the day.
I still use Yahoo.
I haven't used that shit in God knows how long.
So you use Google?
Yeah, I'm a sheep. Yeah, I went to Google. but
no,
because
that's not a sheep. This is...
It's just, like,
in the end, it's all the same.
Really?
It is all the same.
Between you,
yeah, Yahoo and Google. What are you gonna you're gonna get a different search on Google than Yahoo?
No, not really.
It's the same shit. Like what? What are you gonna find different? You're gonna end up at Pizza Hut like the same way I end up at Pizza Hut. Like what other site you're gonna find that's so off, like out the fucking gate where I was like, I didn't know about that.
That's true.
Think about that. There's only
that's how small the internet is.
The internet is small. It's not big. That's why, like, you're saying use Google, I use Yahoo. We end up, guess what? We end up in the same place.
Location. I get what you're saying now.
Like, what are you gonna find? A fucking off-state pizza named Babadook's, whatever the fuck pizza. And I'll be like, oh shit, you found that on Google? Like, oh damn, like I guess Google is better. It's like, nah, you're gonna find the same shit that I find on fucking Yahoo. You're gonna hit the same road as me.
At the end of the day, like the roads may twist and bend, but at the end of the day, the same location,
the same point. Like you're not gonna hit a place where like, oh damn.
So even if so basically with that, are you saying that even with somebody like with Bob who goes to page 2, do you think page 2 is gonna make any difference from what you find on page 1? Like does because I feel like where at least what you're explaining to me, which I'm loving, is and what I'm thinking is that no matter where you go on the internet, it still leads down to the same path. Like it's only so big that we're still gonna end up where no matter how different where we start at, we still end up on the same goddamn location. I guess
you end up at the same spot.
How you discovered it doesn't matter. It just matters where it leads to, and
yeah, it's like a map.
It's a map. Like it's like what do you call the little maze shit they used to draw through? I can't remember.
MapQuest.
No, not a MapQuest. No, like a coloring books would be like, hey, here's a maze, and then you draw through the maze to get to the center. But there's multiple like locations you can come through, but they all still lead to one center. It don't matter where you come from.
It's like a maze.
That's a maze. Okay,
that's a maze. Yeah,
that's a different name for it. My bad.
We call that maze in America. I don't know what country you're from.
I'm tripping. No, that's a different name for it. Some psychological. I don't know.
Shell Shock says. If say it's all the same, yet somehow using Bing feels like chewing on rusty nails. I've never in my life used Bing.
Fuck it, man. My job still runs off of Bing as like their main search engine.
That is so crazy. Like
I hate it.
Bing, like that's not even normal to type.
Like every time I type something wrong in the search bar, if I misspell something, it automatically sends me to Bing. I'm like, oh god, I'm like Google, like I'm not doing it.
So your work computer sends you straight there automatically.
Dude, automatically, that's who they sold out to.
Shit has Ralph Wiggum's on. What Ralph Wiggum as a dev, like a developer. Ralph Wiggum, like Luke kid.
Boy, the little boy from Simpsons, yeah. who may have been kind of on the spectrum.
He is on the spectrum.
You remember the episode when Lisa broke his heart? He's like, oh. And then Bart was like, pause it right here. Go in slow motion. He's like, right there, pause.
That's when you broke his heart.
Yeah, that's when you broke his heart. He's like, I choose you.
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
I choose you. That was a horrible episode.
Lisa's a heartbreaker.
I hate that episode. That's horrible.
Bob says, no, same shit. That's why you go to page 3. Oh, shit.
I thought you said 2, Bob. What are you
Bob says, Bing is the stupidest search engine.
Yeah, it was trash. That's what everybody uses. I don't know how it's still around, but it's still here.
Yeah, I never used it, but
Google's smart with their
Bob
shit.
say it's stupid, I wouldn't even try it.
Google's smart with this shit because Google keeps up with like holidays and events. It's like, hey, come to Google, and when you see our font, we got Native Americans and pilgrims eating food with each other. When you go to Google, like they got like certain things that make you want to see. Like, oh, if you type in this title of this TV show, this character will pop up. Like Google's got like a lot of little cool Easter eggs.
They keep you engaged. See, the goal of these companies. No, the goal of all these companies is to keep you guys engaged as long as possible because they're collecting all your
data, man,
personality, your data, how you react, whatever you type to your friends, how you communicate with each other, what websites you're looking at whichever time of day. They're trying to figure out you like to the T. And all this is not done by like a person. This is all done in algorithms.
Dude, this is like
these artificial intelligence, they're collecting data.
Humans like this, like, hey.
Yeah, they've been collecting data on everybody for so fucking long. Let me tell you some shit.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot make this shit up. You know DARPA, right?
Yeah.
The technology company DARPA. If you guys look it up, it's like a huge technology company.
They made like
so this company back then, right? They came up with this program or this software. It's called LifeLock, not LifeLock. Hold on, let me look this shit up.
Lifeline.
Let me look up because I wrote it down like in my last notes.
Oh, this is like last.
I'm right. It's called LifeLock. So this was like before 2000s. DARPA, big technology company, they came up with the software called LifeLock, where they would log in all the information of every individual human being, everything that they do on the internet, in real life. They would track down every single event that you do in real life, like from like your birthdays to everything that you shop for, to the porno that you guys surf, like they know every personal detail about every individual. They call it LifeLock. So basically they were already infiltrating on like our human rights, where they're engaging in our privacy. Like this is back like before 2000s, right? They already had the software to pretty much spy on human beings.
Okay.
So like the people said like the people that was like at that time, they said, hey, like this is like go against like the moral values of human beings. Like we don't like what you guys are doing, DARPA. So we want you guys to end this LifeLock shit. Like you guys can't, like you guys got to end the program. You guys can't stop spying on our people like that. Like every little detail about them, like if they like Subway, if they like Burger King or whatever, they knew everything about people.
Yeah.
So they said, hey, like the people said, hey, you guys got to stop this shit. And this was like in 2004. So they ended that whole shit that DARPA was doing, like spying on the people. And then guess what happened in 2004?
What?
Guess what emerged?
In 2004, after all the DARPA shit?
Yeah.
Was it Google?
Facebook. So Facebook conveniently came out of nowhere.
It's always been an agent. It's always been an agent, people.
So after they shut off the DARPA LifeLock, Facebook out of nowhere came in the public, and then everybody, for some reason, like I was a MySpace kid, so like I didn't want to switch over to Facebook. But it's almost like I felt like at that time we were forced to go to Facebook.
I dragged my feet on that shit too. I started at the time with Facebook. When I first got on Facebook and I started a profile, nobody was on that shit. I was like, okay.
Right.
And I actually have two profiles. One is almost non-existent, and one is like what I got now on Facebook. But I remember when like Facebook was like, I was just hearing hints of it. I got on it. Nobody was on that shit. A bunch of college kids I didn't know. And then I stuck to MySpace. And then let's see, over time, the migration shifted over. It's like cattle.
Almost like we're forced.
Digital cattle. Yeah.
I didn't like it because I liked my MySpace shit.
Yeah, dude, loved it.
Because you could
Facebook
customize,
was basic as shit.
Yeah, because MySpace you can customize all this shit. Your own like if you visit your page, right, you get all the music that you like and shit.
Background.
But then like if the person's feeling your music, like, hey, I'm feeling that shit too. Like and that's how you get like the type of connection.
My shit was like all Linkin Park shit at one time.
Yeah.
Because I was an angsty teenager. I was like, man, nobody understands me. And then Linkin Park. You about to hear like the top 5 songs from Linkin Park. You like, you about to get all the hits. And also look at my background and my top 5 friends. And then if you know top 5
Sparkles.
friends.
Yeah. My shit didn't sparkle.
Nah, I didn't either.
Yours did. I'm just playing.
I was like, it did? I remember it.
Yeah, but MySpace was more like your own personal shit out there. Like Facebook, you couldn't do nothing.
I think the only thing
all you could say was like you're from a certain location, and then
well now you got night mode now, so it takes the background to black instead of white.
It's like no personality.
That's it.
Facebook got no personality. Nobody knows who you really are and shit. You know, it's like it's fucking Facebook. Everybody was forced to fucking go into Facebook, and now, like, guess what? Facebook owned everybody.
Every fucking body. Even WhatsApp, man.
They know where you're at. They know everything. They know what you like. They know what type of politics you're in. They know everything. They know what you like to fight about.
Because Facebook is deputized by the NSA to watch everybody. Also, Google is the same way. They all collect information for the NSA. Blood. This ain't nothing new. This ain't new shit. They out here. I think most people are just like, all right, you know what? I'm not doing anything wrong, so fuck it. They're not looking at me.
Yeah. Read Shell Shock.
All right. Let's see. Shell Shock says, I remembered MySpace just died at one point. Like a million voices cried out and were immediately silenced. And that's when I went to Facebook. Yeah, MySpace died so quick. I don't know if anybody realized the transition was that fast. It was
fast.
MySpace went through this weird trend of it got too commercialized. It was like it was too many people trying to like before SoundCloud rapping. Everybody was trying to get on music, and I was getting friend requests from everybody trying to start music, and it just became like a music website. And
I was accused of that shit too, like being a SoundCloud, like not a rapper but music guy. I mean, I was making like music at that time, but I wasn't trying to promote it like I'm.
But what if it was like?
Oh, you're the SoundCloud guy. I'm like, no.
What if it was like bots trying to push it? Because nobody was really going for that music shit. It became too music heavy, and unknown people trying to take over. I think Justin Timberlake brought it.
At that time, bots wasn't like that.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't that relevant. Like the bots wasn't really there like that yet,
like
because
Facebook
the technology haven't caught up yet.
Okay.
As soon as the technology caught up, then people realized, hey, we have to create bots to keep up with this shit.
Because humans cannot contain all this other humans. It's gotta
because if you want to control like the traffic and shit, you have to control the narrative. So you have to get bots on that shit. You know, that's why you see a lot of bots arguing amongst each other. And then real humans actually go in and argue with these bots. They don't have no idea they're fighting with a fucking bot the whole time.
You never know. It responds to you. It knows who you are. It's gonna respond. It's gonna be like a chess match because they're always gonna come back and argue with you, and you'd be like going back and forth with Skynet. Shell Shock also says in chat, like certain features stopped working properly. So he's talking about the end of I'm assuming with MySpace stopped working properly. People not logging on, etc. Oh, that shit is real. Just a string of small things, and then everyone moved. That's a fact, man. Because like towards the end of like MySpace, I was still getting on, and it was telling me I had like 3 unread messages or 4 unread messages, and I couldn't get into it. And then when I finally was able to get into it, it was messages of like, "Hey, it's Justin Timberlake," because I think the motherfucker brought like my MySpace at one point or some shit.
You ignored Justin Timberlake?
I know he wasn't real back then. What you want my black ass? What he want about me? You a spy.
So you thought I was like a Nigerian drug lord?
Oh, wait. Okay, so it might have been. I don't know.
Hey, anybody want to buy an airport?
I'm gonna say your whole airport that doesn't exist.
Hey, anybody want to buy an NFT airport?
It's not about if it's real. It's what you put the value behind it. Don't think about if it's real.
I swear to God, fucking Nigeria, they're playing with the NFT shit, right? They're the motherfuckers. I say this shit right now. They're the guys out there selling these bullshit ass pictures of animals.
That's stupid shit.
As NFT, and motherfuckers are buying
Fall
it.
for it. They know what's up.
No. Here's what they're doing. They're doing this amongst their community. I think they figured this shit out, like the whole NFT shit. So, right, yeah, your buddy Congo, he's like, all right, I created an NFT of a bumblebee that I took a picture of on a tree, right? So his brother, or his friend, one of his friends say, oh, I'm gonna buy this NFT. I'm gonna buy your NFT with the bumblebee.
Oh, they start to scam.
I buy it for $10, right?
Build up the hype.
And then they look at the trade like, okay, this shit went from one tan to another. He paid $10. And then Big Brother, right? Big Brother happens to be a millionaire. He buys that NFT of that stupid bumblebee that you just took a picture of. He buys it for like $10,000. Nigeria out there already scamming people. So like that NFT worth 10,000. They're like, oh, somebody bought it for 10,000, then it's worth money now. It's on the blockchain. That shit was bought last price. It was sold 10,000. Somebody else buys it, right? Some legit person say, oh, I'm gonna buy it. I feel like this shit is worth 35,000.
Real people.
He buys that shit. One more transaction. Another Nigerian with a lot of money, he buys it. He buys it for $50,000, right? So then a guy in America is like, oh shit, he buys it for 50,000. Next bid, $100,000. Nigerian guy's like, oh shit, okay, cool, we got this. Buys it for like 120,000. Next dude buys it for like $1 million. Done deal. He sold a little bumblebee. He sold a little bumblebee. He took a picture on a tree, and this is how NFTs are made.
That's how you gotta scam it. You gotta get the hype up for it, man. You gotta hype it up.
NFTs is not hard at all. It's
simple. It's like everything else in this world. Once you figure it out, it's simple. This is that most people don't want to take the time to. We're so busy being worker bees.
I wouldn't say it's simple, but like you have to put some work.
I'm saying like yeah, but I do think like on some level that so many people are so busy either being parents or just working that grind.
Yeah.
Who's gonna take the time to listen to or understand the what could really give them success? Most people ain't gonna take the time out for it. So I mean, the ones that will, then
I'm excited though. Like in this NFT space, like I finally really understand it now. So now, like if you were to get me into a room talking about NFTs, I understand it now. I get it.
You can have the big conversations.
Yeah.
I'd be in the corner like, okay, I'll be a wallflower. I want to know shit.
No, like if you want to understand it, you'll be in the same room.
Talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Shell Shock says in the chat, this is back to the MySpace stuff. It says JT hadn't gotten involved yet. Oh,
Justin
Timberlake. He tried to pick up the pieces later. See, I thought he got onto it back during the. I thought he got on earlier, but maybe he got on when he did that movie Social Network.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Oh, sorry, with the MySpace and the Facebook stuff, or whatever. Because Justin Timberlake eventually wound up buying that shit, and I remember that. But Shell Shock is saying that JT hadn't gotten involved. At least the era that I was talking about before. For anybody's listening, that remembers.
Well, speaking of Facebook, there was like those twins, right? They got cheated out of Facebook. Like they sued Facebook because they said, "Hey, Facebook, they owe us like this so and so amount of money because of some bullshit," and then they won the lawsuit against Facebook. It's like the twins. I don't know what their names.
Are they girls?
No, it's two guys. Twins, right? So whatever they won in the lawsuit with Facebook, they put every single dime that they won from the lawsuit on Bitcoin.
Oh my god!
And this was way back then. So they gained so much amount of wealth from that, like billions and billions of dollars.
With a B.
Where they literally can make their own exchange. And I think that's what they did. Like you guys can correct me or not, but I know these twins, like they gained so much amount of wealth where I think they created their own like exchange where people can exchange on the network because they got so much money in Bitcoin back then because they bought in when Bitcoin was super cheap, way under $100.
Baby Bitcoin. Huh?
And then this is when they won the lawsuit against Facebook.
Hey man, and Facebook is king of the land. I don't know how I think Facebook maybe have a what's Bob saying in the chat? Winklevoss? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Winklevoss.
Is that the name?
Winklevoss.
Twins?
Winklevoss. It's Winklevoss.
Winklevoss?
It's something.
Winklevoss.
It's something like that.
I was gonna say Bob. I was gonna say Shell Shock. Sorry.
Yeah, it's something.
Shell Shock says Winklevoss.
It's something like that.
Damn, how you be knowing this, Shell Shock?
You might be an entrepreneur, Nor.
Are you AI? Have you been real? Did I really deploy
The
with you?
Winklevoss twins.
Did I deploy with you? Are you a real person? Oh, I got a question.
The
You know too
Winklevoss.
much shit. I know nothing about that. That's real weird.
It's like a walking Google.
He knows, man.
Like
He
a
knows
Google, like a gallery.
Walking.
Yeah.
Goggle.
Gotta be like that sometimes.
So that's the world we're living in. So Skynet 1. Is this the morale of the story? Is what we
Well, like
I think they've been
like
one.
the goal of like these social media companies is to keep you engaged as long as they can.
Dude,
like
so much.
especially like okay, like let me give you an example like Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, like what they only give you like what 240 characters.
There's a limit.
Here's the thing, like when you go on Twitter, you're put into like a group. Like you're put into like a box. You're put into a room that you don't even know.
Dude, for real shit. I know what you're gonna say. I agree with you 1,000%.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah.
I'll let
Okay.
you-
So
I'll let you
when you're
say.
on Twitter, right, you're placed into a room. You don't know who's in that fucking room. You're not in a room with everybody else. You're placed in a room with other people that thinks different and thinks the same, thinks a little bit different. So when you start to argue, like on Twitter, right, you're arguing with people within that little group you're in. Like let's say you're in a box, right? You're in a group of people, so you're arguing with just those people in that group. You're not arguing with like the masses like that. Like they place you in like a little box, and the reason why they do this is to keep you guys like engaged and intensified in argument and with like somebody that feels so strong about a certain opinion, another person feels strong. Like they keep you engaged. They want you. The only goal is to keep you on the social media for as long as they can, to collect all your data, how you act, how you interact, so they can eventually.
Replace humanity. That's that's me. I'm sorry.
Is to target like certain ads that will fit you. Because if you think about it, right,
It's a
like
market.
the ads that you would get, it's almost like it's tailored to you, to where you're like, holy shit, this is perfect. I needed this. Let me give you one example, real life example. Like I was at work, right, and I was eating, and my hands were dirty. I was eating in my car actually, and my hands were dirty. And then I didn't want to go like to the station to go into the restroom to wash my hands.
You know what?
And I was just thinking, like, hey, is there like a portable wash shit like you can just leave in your trunk where you can just wash your hands, like if you're to camp, like if you're camping, right? You have a portable wash station.
Yeah, we get wet naps.
I was just thinking this shit, right, dude? Not even like a minute later, I got an ad like, hey, portable wash system for campers, and I was like, holy shit, my jaw dropped. I was like, this is like the perfect shit. Like I was gonna buy that shit like right there because I was like, this is so perfect. Like you just leave it in the trunk and then you could just wash your hands like whenever and shit. And
Pimp my ride.
yeah, I was like, holy shit.
Like,
And then it was,
exhibit jumps out.
yeah, and then it freaked me out because I was just thinking of it. So like the way these algorithms work now is so fucking advanced. They can predict what the fuck you need.
You know, man.
They already know, man. It's so crazy because like the shit like the technology with what's that shit that they can replicate like a face of somebody but it's not really their face?
That facial recognition shit.
What's the name of it? Where they can fake your face and put it on something else.
Skynet? I don't know.
No. That's the technology behind it. What's that?
I know. We talked about it before. I can't think of it, man.
Yeah, something has to do with the face.
I just had 10% beer. I can't think that far back right now. But I do know what you're talking about. We mentioned before about
Deep
how...
fake.
There you go.
Deep fake.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so the technology behind the deep fakes, right? Deep fakes, they can take like, let's say like, for example, like they can take our faces because we've been talking about like shit on a podcast for like maybe over 200 hours, right? They can take our face, they can put it into a machine and they can make us say whatever the fuck we want to say to almost like we can admit to whatever crime. Like if we're accused of something, like somebody can take our faces and then everything that we said, they can manipulate it to where we can admit to a fucking crime. So like the technology with the deepfake, right? Like we're just now coming across this deepfake shit to where we look at the deepfake and then we look at it, we'd be like, hey, this shit look too real to
Yo,
where we're like, we can't distinguish it no more.
Some of this deep fake shit is better than what they produce in Hollywood, where they try to put like maybe make people look younger or whatever. Deep fake is kind of beating that shit out. It's hitting
Yeah.
levels of it's getting scary.
It's very scary. But let me tell you one thing, like this whole deepfake shit, it's been done over 15 years ago.
What year is
So
this?
like let's say like this shit has been done like that long ago, but we're just now noticing it. So let's say like we're like 15 years behind. So let's say like they were doing that shit back 10, 15 years ago. So let's say like now fast forward to today, if they were doing that like back then to where it looked that real, what else are they lying to us? Think about the technology now. If they had that back then 15 years ago, what are they faking?
And now that this technology is public
Yeah.
on some level,
Now like it's public, we know about it, but how far has it advanced from 15 years ago to today?
we'll never know.
We can't tell no more. We can't distinguish that shit.
No, we ain't ready for that shit.
Yeah, let me tell you like this one thing. Like in the New York Times, they posted this shit back like in like 2013. They said that the amount of people that were on YouTube, right? Half of the people that was liking comments, making comments back in 2013, half of it was bots.
No.
Yes, this was New York Times, like Google. They said, hey, like half of the shit is fucking fake. You know, this was back in 2013, and it got to the point where YouTube was like, okay, like it's gonna get to the point where our like AIs, they can't distinguish what's a bot and what's from a real human. So they say it's gonna get to the point, it's gonna hit the threshold to where there's so many fucking bots to where the YouTube algorithms they can't detect whoever's the bot that's commenting to whatever the real life person is commenting. So like they would, let's say like they would mark like a bot like as a real human, and then a real human making a comment they would mark as a bot because there's so much bots now
much
they
shit
can't
can do.
distinguish. They can't distinguish what's real and fake no more.
The AI cannot figure out who's AI.
Yeah,
Or
so
that's-
the AI they broke that shit to where the AIs can't distinguish what's real and fake no more.
So it's
And then there's not enough YouTube employees to fucking
no.
pick out all these
They
single
got
bots
al-
because
they
there's
got-
so much.
They got algorithms to do that, man. That's the working man.
Yeah, but
the,
then-
the algorithms are like the new working man of society. But
Yeah, but when the algorithms can't detect like who's fake or real no
it's a
more,
problem.
huge problem. This is back like in 2013.
Bob in the chat says, so you can't argue. So you can't go argue with other people? Question mark. So, as the arguing with people online, does that not exist anymore? Is it just like more than likely if you're having a debate with somebody?
Let me tell you one thing. Like when you argue with somebody, right? You're arguing with them, like you feel like you're actually having an argument with the real robot. I mean, with the real human. My bad. And then me, right? When I'm done arguing with somebody online,
You do that
it's
shit
usually on boxing fights and
He
like,
did tell me
MMA.
that. He did tell me that.
This is the only thing like I'm really into. Like I usually
Fuck that politics shit. Who the fuck?
I only comment on boxing and MMA, right?
You're knowledgeable
because
on
I
that
know a
shit.
lot about that
Yeah.
shit. So then, like when I will argue with these people, right? I'm like, what the fuck is this dude talking about? He sounds like a fucking kid. Click on his profile all the time.
Oh Lord.
Private profile, no pictures posted. He follows 300 people, nobody follows him.
And you can see
And
like
then
what,
I'm like, man, I've been arguing with the fucking bot the whole fucking time
you be like, oh my god, did like then this is on YouTube or what?
on Instagram.
I was on Instagram. I'm like, oh my god, they don't watch no videos or nothing. They just it's so many bots on Instagram. Like, I don't know what's been going on. Maybe it's the podcast. I don't know. I've been getting like a lot of damn fucking fake ass people coming at me as I'll click on the profile. I'm like, oh really? I'm getting bombarded like with just. I don't know. It's like I get bombarded by a bunch of fake ass profiles lately, and I don't know who they are. I mean, I remember at one time I was like, okay, every now and again I would get like fake ass bot ass profiles that would want to send me friend requests, but now it's like on a constant basis.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm very cautious of
I
that.
am getting overwhelmed by it.
All right. So how much of the internet is actually fake? So studies suggest that 61% of internet traffic is not human. 61%. This is like based on 2013. The New York Times were saying, "Hey, most of these guys are fucking bots." This is back in like 2013. So you would think like right now, it hit that threshold to where there's way more bots than humans, to where now the algorithms can't catch who's the bot and who's not, because it's too real now, you know. So like they call this event like the YouTube guys, they called it like, if this were ever to happen, they called it the inversion. This was the name that they gave, like if
Worlds colliding type
yeah,
shit.
the inversion, to where they can't tell anymore if the bots are humans or
Nobody
not
knows.
humans.
AI's gotta
Yeah,
it's like the original AI does not recognize it's doing this to itself now.
yeah,
Type
and
shit.
then they don't know, like the bots don't know if it's the human talking or the bot talking. Because let me give you an example of what happened to me, like just a few months ago, right? I said some shit like where like it was something to where everybody like in the comment they had their own opinion, but it was swaying on a side to where I didn't agree on. It was like some boxing stuff, and I had my own opinion on it. And when my opinion was so different from the majority opinion,
Boy, you got jumped.
you know what happened, right? There was one comment that said where I was like, "What the fuck?" This dude said, "You must be a bot," and I was like, "Whoa." I did not see that
Because
coming.
you're going against the grain of
Yeah, because I
everybody's
went
opinion.
completely.
I've seen
I went
that before.
completely against the grain, and then because I was like, I went through my I'm talking about shit like through my own opinion of what I think is right, and then I went completely like against everybody else. Then one dude comment, he said I was a bot.
That happens every now and again. When you express an opinion outside of the mass, and you're like, "Oh shit!" So now like,
Yeah.
maybe y'all bots. Y'all all agree
then
on the
that's
same
when I was
shit?
like, that's when it was almost like I'll try to fucking. It almost broke my character a little bit, because I was like, what the fuck, like. Then I started thinking like, am I fucking wrong? Like it almost made me try to
Second guess your shit,
reconfigure
yeah.
like my own thoughts and shit. But then I looked past that. I was like, nah, like this. I'm gonna keep trusting like my own intuition. Like keep trusting my own thoughts, because I know like a lot of those shit, like their shit is the one that's fake. Because why would I feel so much different? Like it has to be some type of conflict, or if everybody agree on one thing, you already know like something's off, you know. And then if you feel like a different way, you'll start to think like, okay, something is wrong. That's when you start to think like something is wrong.
So do you think it could be possibly like a difference of opinion? It's not the bots. Or,
There is like if you were to go on Reddit, right? And Reddit, the way they do the whole system, they work on the system with the karma base.
Yeah,
Like
it's
people, they would
like
they
currency.
would be scared to say something negative, because they don't want their karma to go down.
Oh,
Because
dude, I've seen motherfuckers go straight
Yeah.
to the negatives for saying
yeah, because
something kind of weird.
Because people, they want to have good karma. They want to, like, let's say I click in your profile, you have like 10,000 good karma because you're following all the rules, you're saying all the right things, you know. So Reddit, it promotes that shit to where like, hey, stay in your lane, say all the right shit.
Yeah.
If you say the wrong shit, guess what? Your karma goes down. So it discouraged people from actually saying like their true feelings about something, because if they know like whatever they're thinking, and if they want to say it and they already know they're gonna get like a negative downvote, they're not gonna say it. So Reddit promotes that shit to where like, okay, if you already know it's gonna be negative, don't say it, because you're gonna lose karma.
I do feel like there is a system designed to make people self-police themselves on a level. I'm kind of in the middle with it, but at the same time though, it does keep motherfuckers that want to say racist shit or say some wild shit about anybody else that ain't who they are. It kind of boxes them into like, with the very small bit of internet that we have, it kind of boxes them into like this weird corner to where they just chill at 4chan, to where most regular people don't chill at. But
don't chill there.
But it kind of pushes them out the mix of society of where, hey, this is the way the world is moving. you trying to be messy here. The system is like, other than Facebook, because Facebook breeds motherfuckers like this, but I do feel like Reddit is kind of a place where it's like, the karma system is designed for self-policing, where like, hey, like, there's nothing wrong with expressing your opinion, but when is it gonna become like too volatile, or like you too like you're leaning too wrong in the wrong direction in order for you to want to course correct yourself, and that's where is it? I'm not saying I agree with that 1,000%, but I do get that.
Yeah,
as humans, we can get out of control with a lot of shit how we feel. Like I said, it's self-policing. I believe that's what we should always do. But on the flip side, it's when is the overreach for, like, because you're controlling how people should think or feel? When is the overreach going to come where you're controlling everybody on how they think and feel? Like, because that's weird. I don't explain.
I do feel like people, they should be held accountable for like the type of stuff they said, like, to where it spreads like actually like something that's like going the lines of like a hate type of crime,
Yeah.
Like they shouldn't be like of course they should get downvoted for that, Like, so it's almost like it is like a double-edged sword, like how they're doing it.
Yeah.
That's why like only Reddit has this type of shit where there's the karma effect. Because I was thinking, like, I was saying earlier, a long time ago, I was saying, okay, why don't YouTube have this shit? Because YouTube have so many fucking toxic comics.
Oh, dude, I got blocked over there on YouTube just because I was trying to leave a comment.
It was toxic, right?
No, it wasn't. It was just it didn't. No, with my comment, it didn't agree with what the video was saying, and my shit was like, oh, okay, I got a warning. I was like, all right, whatever.
Because you went against the grain.
I went against what the channel wanted, and I was like, okay, whatever, fuck ever. I was like, maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe I'm not the target audience for it, but I don't feel like that should be what it is. I don't say nothing too wild on social media to where I'm accusing of a specific race about anything or any gender or anything. I just call out motherfuckers that really do say ignorant shit and they don't really understand the bigger picture of how things work. Thing is, though, I go to some pages that really push that shit on YouTube because YouTube is messy to me. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
It's very messy.
But even when I leave comments, my shit gets fucking flagged and booted off and can't comment no more. So whatever. But that's look. I stepped out of my lane. If I want to be comfortable, I should stay in my lane and watch my comfortable shit that makes me understand stuff. But
see, that's the thing though. Like, they want people to be like that. They want people to self-isolate themselves to where, like, let's say like you're the problem, right? Mm-hmm. And you can't deal with society because society is so much against you. They're so against your views. Like, you end up isolating yourself from society. Like, they want you out. Like, you got to get out because you're not a part of the program now. Like, we want you to fucking stay out of the program. We don't want you to watch the news no more. Like, your opinions might be too strong and you might, like, trigger somebody else. Like, no, we want to keep this shit this way. If you want to isolate, cool. We want you to do that. Because they're like, whatever they say, it's just going to be wrong. So they say, okay, I'm not going to be a part of the community no more.
It does try to keep people in their lane. I think... what am I thinking of? I do think it tries to make people stay in their lane a lot, not so much to step out and want to voice their opinion, kind of just go with the rest of the crowd. But on the flip side, though, I'm very in the middle about it. The internet has become this cesspool of where people have been able to express so much of the hate of what they think about a particular gender or race. But when it comes down to it, is that most people don't believe in that shit. And that's across... This is around the world. Most people just want to live and survive. And if racism was that damn bad, then racism would... like there'd be presidents wearing like KKK hoods over the head and shit. Like, if it was really that bad, I do think on some level it does, like, the wild shit of the internet and society as a whole gets checked. The problem is like it's targeting everybody and anything. It's weird. I don't know. The internet is a very police state. We watch out.
It is.
It's
what I think is going on right now, like in America, is how I see it. You guys might see it different. It's soft. Everything is soft.
I don't know. I feel like the world was too rough on some levels. Let
me tell you one thing. It could be more rough.
It has been more rough.
It
has evolved to where...
Like, I'm talking about how we are now. Like, we're good.
I think we have. I think the world's more understanding now than it was back when it was rough.
We
That's why we don't have.
I'll tell you right now, like we are good. We're living in America. We're good. Like if you want to learn something, you can learn whatever the fuck you want, and you can learn it comfortably. Like let me give an example. I'm not trying to be like the sappy guy, whatever. But if you go look at my country, Cambodia, right?
Yeah.
Go look at them how they're doing like their studies and shit. If you look at them how they're doing their studies, all it is like 4 walls, right? There's no fucking ground. All it is just fucking dirt, and they're just trying to learn a language. Like other countries, they have it so bad compared to what we have in America. I think like what we have in America, what we're complaining about. I'll tell you guys one thing. It can be so much worse. Like we have it so good here in America.
I agree with that.
We have it so good. People, they would fucking kill in other countries. They would fucking kill to come here to live like the life that we have.
And I agree with you.
We have nothing to complain about in this country, and I swear to God, like we have nothing to compare about. It could be so much worse.
That's why, like, people that live outside of America make fun of America when America has problems with its people.
The reason why they make fun of America because they complain so much.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's called like first world problems on some things. Like, man, these people complain that because that Netflix crashed. Really, people in America upset about it. Like, there's people that don't even know fucking what Netflix is in some countries, let alone having a TV. I've traveled to countries and Shell Shock and anybody else who's listening to me or later on will know that when you go to different countries, there's American poor and there's fucking the rest of the world poor, where some people have holes in their ceilings and there's no lights and they are making it happen and they are still happy families, but they're just trying to get by. This shit in America is very like new world poor shit. This is new shit.
Yeah, that's why I say like you live in America, you get access to all this information. If you even got access to internet, man, you're way ahead of everybody else in the world.
But granted, there are some parts of America who, I'm not going to get too much into politics, but there's specific people in positions who don't want their constituents to get internet because it kind of keeps them locked onto cable TV and makes them see what they want them to see. The internet opens the door, like, for as horrible as the internet is, the internet does open the door for a lot of like mind explosion of understanding of everybody else outside of it. Yeah. So while I do agree the internet is a very huge pivotal part of the world and I think is an essential tool, it does at some level it becomes toxic and
it is. It's very important too. Like a lot of people like around the world that need to know about this knowledge. That's why like we have people, good people like Elon Musk. You guys can shit on him all you fucking want. Like Elon Musk is the dude that's fucking putting these satellites up in the fucking in the skies for other people in the jungles, where places where you don't have like access to Wi-Fi, to where you can get access to internet, and he's giving that access to people because he's the only fucking billionaire that's out there doing this shit, trying to help people to get access to information about everything that's going on in the world. And then people want to fucking shit on Elon, like he's like this billionaire rich kid that fucking wants to shit on people. But that's completely untrue. Elon, he really wants to help people. People want to keep shitting on him. I'm telling you guys are making the super villain. This guy is always trying to help people. You guys should stop fucking shitting on him with this whole Dogecoin, whatever bullshit. Like Elon, when he says some shit about Dogecoin, oh, it drops the stock of Bitcoin, and then they want to cry. They want to blame Elon about this shit. Elon is the only fucking billionaire out here that's trying to give information to the whole world, doing this shit with the Starlink, giving everybody internet across the whole world, trying to help people to learn more about shit. And then people want to cry about Elon on Twitter. They want to say this guy is a bad guy. Don't fucking trust Elon. And to me, I find that I was like, okay, like you guys, you listen to the masses and then you want to believe like, okay, Elon is the bad guy. And then the whole time Elon is trying to fucking help people. Like, I mean, come on. What other billionaire out there is just going to try to help people?
Nobody. I'm in the middle with Elon. I don't know.
Okay, tell me, Ryan. Give me your argument about that.
He's just the face of an organization, but he's not an engineer. He's not building shit. He's not setting them up. He's not setting up the plans. He's just a face. It's like being the president of America and then taking credit for how hard America works. Like, motherfucker, you just the face. You're just the guy of it. That's why I see Elon as. He's not building nothing. He's not writing out blueprints. He's just the face of it. And that's how I see him as. He's the CEO. He's a corporate guy. That's it. I'm not saying he's evil or anything. I just see like as him as he's just corporate America, and that's it. He has so many people under him that does all the heavy lifting.
But understands. That's just me. Here's the difference. Why you're seeing him like that? You're seeing him like corporate guy, just only. Like this dude, he is a smart guy. Like he came from a place like in Africa. He learned all this shit. He comes from a good family. Yeah, he's a smart dude, right? He's a business guy. Like, okay, let's say you're not the smartest guy in the room, right? But what makes you like a real smart guy is you get other smart people in the room. It cannot be like one brain that comes up with every fucking problem in the world, right?
It's
a collective. It's a collective brain. Sure, yeah. So you can't say, okay, he's not like a smart guy, like he's just a CEO. No, like come on, he's a smart guy that started the shit from the beginning. He's a smart mind, and he's saying, okay, if we want to get a rocket to Mars, right? Himself is like, okay, I don't have like the understanding of like fucking rocket scientists, but I understand like how the whole business works. So I'm gonna get people that knows how to do this shit. Mm-hmm. You have to the whole shit. It's like a group. It's like a group effort.
Yeah, you gotta build a team.
Yeah, so you cannot shit on Elon. Elon, he started that shit from the beginning. He's the one that's saying, hey, we gotta collect these minds, and then the only way we can improve is we put these big brains together, and then we can fucking move on. It ain't no fucking one brain shit. You're thinking of it like one brain, like, oh, Elon, he didn't come up with all this shit. Of course he didn't come up with all this shit, but he brought all the greatest minds together to come up with a problem to, hey, let's say we can fix the shit this way. Because I got, he started this shit from the beginning. Like, well, he collected his money. He did the whole PayPal shit. He got all the money together. He got all the smartest minds. Like, hey, I want to do this shit this way. So, hey, I'm gonna get all the smartest people that I know, put them all together, and then we're gonna work on this together. This is not a one brain shit.
He's made decisions I've really got behind. But I mean, teach his own. It's just something about like Elon, like. I see what he's trying to do, but I also see the bad he's also doing behind it. Like I don't agree with
what's the bad.
That's a whole nother podcast, I guess.
Yeah, do it. I want to know because I want to know. I want to know why people are shitting on him when he was trying so hard to help. I was like, where's the shit part?
The one thing is like, okay, my thing with him is like Tesla cars. Okay, if this car is supposed to be to reinvent the world and it's supposed to be for the betterment of the people. Why are you making this shit so expensive? Now, there may be excuses for like, well, it's going to have to cost money to make the thing, make it work. Okay, this, that, and the third. But your charger ports are not the same as how it is in Europe. Like, people seem to forget that Europe started electric cars first. Not Elon Musk. Europe was on electric car shit way before Elon did. And when Elon starts creating these cars, is why are you creating different charger ports for people in different countries? It's almost like you're creating is that you're creating competition now. It's like, if you were really trying to help people and you were going to design these cars in a different type of way, even if it's your whole team, even if he's not the mastermind about it, whatever you want to think about how Elon is that when you create these cars and they have these charger ports, why is it not the same as how they have it in Europe? So you're trying to create a competition within the market now, which how's that beneficial to the people
I think you have your information wrong.
That's why I want to get into it.
Because here's what I'm thinking. Like, you're thinking like a European charger to like an American charger.
Have you been to a European country?
No, I'm just saying, like, that's your argument.
Plugging outlets are not the same as American outlets. Like, when you go to another country, you literally have to buy a converter to plug, say, if you want to plug your laptop.
I understand that. Yeah. But you're thinking a Tesla car is like that?
Why would it not be the same?
So that's your argument why Tesla is trying to take over the market?
It's definitely a marketing tool. It's definitely a marketing angle.
So you got that completely wrong. Like, let's say that plug shit is... You're trying to argue with a plug. Like, okay, let's say the plug is different in Europe. You just plug it into another wall.
I don't think it's that simple as it is. But.
That's your argument about the Tesla. Like, I don't think you understand it. That's why the argument
Shellshock was saying in the chat that it could be worse. So this is what we was talking about before with the other countries like having issues and whatnot.
Look, I understand the whole plug situation, but that's not a real argument about like electric cars, like because the plug don't work.
No. That's what I'm saying.
That's
Like,
an easy fix.
That's like that was just my take on it.
It's already happening. Like you can plug a fucking Tesla car in a fucking German station. Like, I mean, that's not the real problem. I think you guys might have it confused.
No, I might be wrong on it. I'll try to read what Shellshock was saying though, because he's talking about like with as far as like problems with how America is, and then how other countries may deal with problems.
He's not trying to fucking lock you from charging the car.
This is not about Tesla. This is about just in general. We were talking about earlier. It's Shellshock is saying that it could be worse other places, but it's kind of false equivalent because there's still a lot going on here, and it's downplaying It's a downplaying tactic. We should be thankful we have it better, but not ignore what's going on here as is. I agree with that. Like how other parts of the world do have it worse, but we shouldn't have to downplay the issues down here in America. I
don't get the hate on
Elon. This separate from Elon.
Yeah.
This is separate from Elon. This is what we talking about before Elon. But I agree 1,000% on that. Like,
yeah,
we all got our own problems here, and we need some attention to be brought to it.
Yeah, I just never understood that the Elon hate. That's why I wanted to hear it like from you. And then when I heard that, I was like, that's not really.
It's just here's the thing: we're living in an age of where we are slowly shifting to an anti-capitalistic America. This shit of where, hey, everybody wants to be rich, everybody should have to be successful. That dream of being top dog in America is fucking dying out with American people because people ain't got fucking jobs anymore. There's strikes going around right now. Some of the biggest strikes have gone on in over a decade with John Deere factories and all these other factories where workers are saying, hey, Mr. Big Guy at the top, you and the rest of the fucking billionaires during COVID, y'all got rich. Why are y'all lowering our pay now? That's where the real big problems are coming. Is like, hey, these people are like doing all this event of stuff for the rest of the world, but what does it mean for the workers at the bottom? Like, what does it mean for the people like I shout out to the John Deere folks. I don't care who you voted for. This is the real America. This is the real problem. People are getting paid way too less to do these goddamn jobs. And some of these people that was working at these jobs, like John Deere, they was working 7 days a week. 7 days a week, and their pay got cut. But guess what? People that own these companies got more money. I think right now in this country, we're hitting a movement of where people are starting to realize that, hey, this government and this system is only set up for rich people to be successful. There's all these damn lies saying we can be anything we want to be as long as we work hard. People work hard all the time. Got 2-3 jobs and ain't nobody rising up. And we all still in the same damn.
You don't know that though.
Who? I don't know anybody. And I'm not talking about in the same terms of like investments or anything like that. Most people don't invest in this country. So I'm taking that out of the equation. People just working the buy and buy jobs. And I'm saying is I believe there should be a limit on how rich you should be in this world. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Here's what I say, man. You should never rely on anybody to hold your hand. So if anything happens, like within the system...
I disagree. And in this country, I disagree in America. I can't speak for the rest of the world, but...
If anything that happens in the system, you shouldn't rely on somebody to hold your hand. That's how I see it as a regular survivor. If all this shit collapse, like what? You only have yourself at the end of the day.
Okay, you say that, right? How many things have you invested money in? If that shit collapsed, how much money would you lose out of it?
Fuck it. Let me tell you right now. Like in one day, I lost 15 grand in one day. You don't see me crying.
And and some people lose less than that and still suffer.
Risk. It's risk you have to take.
But not everybody can afford the risk. Nobody can afford this risk that you're talking about.
Then there you go. That comes like down to like survival. How much do you want it?
What? It's not about how much you want it. If everybody wanted to be rich, guess what? Everybody would be rich.
Okay, let me let the government hold my hand the whole day.
That's not about the government. Look, dude, we pay so much in taxes. The government should be taking care of us. All the money, man. Give me tax-free shit. We pay so much in taxes that to the point of the level of why this government ain't trying to do nothing for nobody else. But guess who ain't paying taxes? Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, all these rich people ain't paying no goddamn taxes. Now on the level that we pay more taxes than they do.
Okay, let me ask you this: what will you do about it?
Fucking blow this planet up and start all over. This shit is ruined.
There you go.
This shit's
You're not
ruined to
gonna do
me.
nothing.
This shit because The reason
it's happening, right?
The reason why I say this shit.
What are you gonna do about it? Like, here's my thing.
What can I do about it?
Look, hold on.
No, because you just asked me a question.
We can't do nothing about it. You have to take it in your own hands.
The thing is, what can I do about it?
You have to take it in your own hands. You can't fucking rely on the government, man.
So what's the government there for then? Why should the government exist? Because there's people that vote for these fucking people to take care of them.
You guys
and to look out
depend
for
on the
them.
government that much?
We all do. How you driving these roads? How do you have this house in the same? How you have everything you got? There's a government that allows this to happen.
Okay, let's put you in another country. Like, what are you gonna do?
But we're not no other country. We're talking about here now. As far as for America, this shit would not exist if there wasn't a government uphold. I've been in countries where there's no government. Fucking houses that look like built out of mud. There's no system.
Bob says you guys always ending on an argument.
I told he called it earlier. I didn't want to.
I'm saying, man, like, you want to hold your government hand so tight. Like, I'm like, okay, fuck it. Like, if you guys want to let this shit fall, let it fall, man. Like, I know where I fall.
So are you with government?
I'm with, like, myself.
That's not possible though, because you can't.
Like, you guys are so like, damn, like, you guys are.
No, I think the self-reliance thing. People that think they're self-reliant on I got what I got because of what I got. That's not how this shit works anymore.
Then how I got here.
What'd you do? Did you go to college?
No.
Did you go to any kind of schooling or anything? Or what did you do to increase your funding? Like the shit wasn't like.
I did everything on my own. I didn't rely on my parents or nothing.
And
I did everything on my own. Like, all the schooling shit, I paid for all that. My parents didn't say, hey, I'm going to pay for your shit. I said, hey, I took it in my own hands. I'm going to pay for it myself. I didn't rely on no government shit.
Shell Shock
and
says,
I'm still paying for it. That's so crazy, man.
It's just
like hey, hold on to their hand that tight. Keep holding on to their hand. And then they're going to be like, psych. They're going to let you go. And then you're going to be like, so fucking lost. I'd be like, hey, let it go of my hand. I won't be lost.
No, that's just there's a reason why government should exist.
Of course, it should exist, but don't fucking think that they're gonna hold your hand the whole time. They don't fucking like you.
I don't feel like anybody should have to rely on the government to make them survive to the day they die either. But there's a certain extent where the government exists for.
It has to exist, but don't fucking rely on them to fucking be your net. Like, hey, I'm gonna fall in this net. Oh, it's government net. Hey, here I am.
Bob says, end the show. See you next week. I gotta pee so bad too.
Yeah, you're so stuck in that government shit, man.
Like,
I'm telling you, like, they're not even on. Evil. They were never on your side.
I think it's a necessary evil though. Like it's kind of like
it's there, but don't fucking trust them to help you.
I'm not saying trust it, but it's a system that's designed that. Man, I'm like this. Okay, I'm putting it like this. If you went to a restaurant, right, and you paid $100 for a meal, do you expect this meal to be fucking delicious, top tier? You paid $100 for this meal. It should have all the fixing that you want that you read on the menu. Should that meal on that menu uphold to what your meal is supposed to taste like?
If I paid for it, yeah.
Exactly. And then America does not do that.
What? So that's the American dream? Like, they top tier?
No, it's just like, hey, guys, guess what? If you can get what you want in this country, if you got the money for it, you'll get it. If not, you're poor. Go fuck yourselves. You'll be standing in line in unemployment and everything.
To me, I say, like, if you're poor, you're in America, you have freedom, you can figure it out.
Oh, that's an old way. Oof.
It's not the old way. It's the fucking the survival mentality.
No.
It's not no. It's up to you. Like,
I think it undercuts the system.
It comes down to
problem.
It comes down to the individual. If you want to change your life, change your life. Don't fucking depend on something to hold you up. Yeah, you say that like that, but like that's like you not trusting on your. That's like you not trusting on your own. Like,
I think a lot of people don't.
Look, to me, if you want to change your life, you can change your life. You have 2 hands, 2 feet. Hey, make it happen. You can do it. It's possible.
Yeah, I agree on that level of where if you can physically do it.
It's possible. You can do it.
But let's say, okay, you don't have a car, so you can't get to work. So you're going to walk to work?
Figure it out. Everybody is dealt different hands.
And I do agree that you have to figure it out, but I think...
Like, what the fuck? You expect somebody to be like, oh, you don't have a car, let me take your hand.
I think what some people don't understand is that there is a way that you can help people, and people have to help themselves. It's not so much you got to rely on something or you have to rely on yourself. If I pay taxes, I shouldn't have to rely on myself to get through shit. Now, if I'm paying for shit, if I'm paying to stay here in America, because taxes in America is what I'm assuming defines you as an American. If you got Social Security number or whatnot, that's what you define it as, like you being here. Paying taxes is like paying your dues to stay here.
Okay, let's say nobody's paying taxes. Like what?
Who ain't paying taxes? I pay a shit ton of taxes.
I'm just saying, man. Like, dude,
I see where I
you
do
have
see
two
where you come
hands, 2
from.
feet. Like, don't be fucking lazy. Like, you got to take responsibility for yourself. Like, you can't just rely on the system. Like, take it into your own hands. Make shit happen.
I agree with that, but the thing is, though,
what they're supposed to hold your hand, make you rich.
No,
get out of here.
See, and I agree with what you're saying, but the flip side is not that fucking easy. Because if it was that easy for us to take control of our destiny and to be whatever we want in this world, guess what?
I never said it was easy.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't want to downplay.
Look, there's opportunities for everybody. There's programs for everybody. Look. They have scholarships for people that
who can afford it. Everything's money.
No, they have so many scholarships that people don't take advantage of. Like, they have scholarships for people of color. They have scholarships for Asian people.
They ain't talking about color, nothing like that. It's not financially.
Let me give you an example, Chris. Okay. They have scholarships for so much people to do different shit, but people don't take advantage of the scholarship, so they don't pay for their scholarship because they don't take advantage of the scholarships. You get what I'm saying? There's a lot of scholarships out there on the table to where you can take advantage of. Like, let's say you write like a paragraph, whatever. Okay, you get like a scholarship for so-and-so for writing a paragraph. Or you have like other shit. Like, let's say you're Hawaiian. You get a scholarship for being Hawaiian. You just got to apply for it. You get a scholarship for that. So there's so much fucking help out here in America to where you can apply for scholarships to where it pays for your whole fucking school. Because you live here in America, you got the freedom, they have all these scholarships, you can pay for it. But a lot of people, they don't look at it like that. They feel like, oh, the system is so against me. But then there's so many scholarships for people, but they don't even look into it. And then they want to cry about the system. And I was like, you're living in America. There's so much opportunities.
Yes.
You're not taking advantage of it. You want to cry about it. You want to say, oh, everything's so against me. And to me, I look at that like, okay, that's...
Because America provides for everybody.
It's weak brain.
Because America provides for everybody?
Am I wrong?
That was a question, and I'll leave it with that.
No, like, am I wrong?
Like,
there's
I gotta pee too. I was gonna leave it on that.
Look, like you could, dude, you're so crazy. Like, the way you're thinking is so crazy. You expect, like, hey, let me just hold you, and I'm just gonna guide you through like this fucking positivity and get you through this life. Like, man, America is like the place for freedom, a place for opportunities, and there's so much opportunity here, and people just take advantage of it.
All right. I think the rich run this country. But with that being said...
If you keep thinking like that, then
that's the reality.
Guess what? They're going to run their shit because you're not controlling it.
When you have places like where people like Harvey Weinstein or the Epsteins can run shit through this fucking country because of money, then there's a fucking problem with the system because money is the greed of everything. This country fucking lives and breathes money.
Okay.
Jails are designed for the poor. The motherfucking rich people.
Chris, look, we get it.
Let me calm down. Calm down. This shit's ruined.
No.
This country's for the rich.
Look, I get it, but you're not even looking at the positivity. You're not looking at the positive side of it. Like, I just told you all the positive sides to people getting the free scholarships, doing certain stuff. Like, what is your comment on that? Like, you think other countries have like programs like that where they offer all these scholarships for you being like a certain way? They give you all these scholarships.
Are everybody getting free scholarships, or is it just one out of how many?
Wow, Chris.
No, real shit. Like, if we're gonna talk about how many people are prospering,
look into it. Then argue with me.
No, you're telling me this, and so maybe the burden of proof is on you to tell me that all these people are getting these scholarships. And
look, if you do the shit, you'll get the scholarship. This is like when we're in high school. It's the same shit. It ain't no fucking trick. It's like you do something, they'd be like, okay, you did it. We'll give you this amount in scholarships. That's how it worked. I don't think you paid attention when we were in high school. Like, this is how it worked. Like, remember when we graduated from high school? Those people at the valedictorian, they did all these programs, and like, oh, they gained $200,000 in scholarships because they did all these programs. That's what it is. People are not taking advantage of these programs that's already offered to Americans.
So how many people that was offered these scholarships when we graduated high school? How many people got it?
The people that did it.
So it went you, went me.
I didn't do it.
There wasn't somebody else like.
Yeah, look, Chris, you got it so wrong.
No,
it's people that they applied for these programs.
You're making it seem like it's that easy, like everybody can get it, but not everybody can get it.
Oh my God, Chris!
We didn't get it. Like,
did you apply for a fucking scholarship?
But all I'm saying is no, I did not. But all I'm
then
saying
you didn't get it.
All I'm saying is this:
that's
is
black and white, Chris.
All I'm saying is like you're giving you're coming from an angle like anybody can get it, but it's like okay, even if the people that go for it, how many people get it? It doesn't matter if I went for it and got it. How many people fought for that position to get that valedictorian spot or anything? It's not like they just put in for it and got it because they was the only person. So it's basically like the lottery. That's all it is. It's a lottery.
Chris, stop. You're so wrong. You know that, right?
Maybe.
Like, okay, ignore the valedictorian shit. Like, we don't even have to be valedictorian. Like, okay, I just said that just for example, because these are the people that's actually putting in work to get the scholarship. Mm-hmm. Look, if Burger King had a scholarship, right? Let me just give an example. Like, I'm trying to make it simple so you can understand, so you can't fight me. Like Burger King said, hey, if you do this little survey, we'll give you a $10,000 scholarship for your school. Okay, I'm be like, okay, I'm gonna do this Burger King survey. Okay, I got the scholarship now. Now Burger King gave me $10,000 for a scholarship. Now you're saying like, oh, they're not giving like these scholarships away like that. But let's say it's just that simple to where you just apply for a Burger King survey and they give you $10,000 scholarship. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's how simple it is to get scholarships. And you're saying it's so impossible to get scholarship for school. But it's stuff like that. Like, applying for a Burger King survey. I'm trying to make it simple to where you understand, like, okay, people are doing, like, these small, simple things to get scholarship. You're saying it's so impossible for people to get scholarship, but it's not.
I ain't saying nothing about Burger King or McDonald's or nothing.
I'm giving you an example, but Chris.
I get it.
You're saying it's like, oh, nobody's getting scholarships. I'm like, bullshit, Chris. I know people that did all this shit. They got scholarships.
And I don't. So I guess we live in two different worlds. And that might be a different problem, though. We just live in two different worlds. But I don't know anybody who's, like, prospered off of that. And you have. So, I mean, and I think that's what it comes down to. I don't think it's a disagreement of who's right or wrong. But I think it's just...
I think you're, like, more on the side where you just expect shit to just happen for free.
No.
Like, nothing is free,
I think it's a thing of where... You think America's supposed to
even Bob said like for some shit, all you gotta do is submit like a survey or an essay, and then you get like a scholarship. There's so many scholarship programs for high school students to where they don't have to pay for their college.
It's deeper than that.
And then you're saying like, oh, it's so impossible. It's not impossible.
I'm not saying
it's impossible if you don't do shit.
I'm not for sure, but it's different. I don't know.
Yeah, you're fighting me on some shit like I actually know about.
No, you understand your side, but you're not understanding where...
I'm understanding the whole side of how this whole shit works.
Because you're thinking of like people that grow up in these high schools that are horrible and don't have books and overcrowded. They have the same level of success if they put their best foot forward to be just successful as just anybody else who can be rich in this country. It's not how it is. Most people in this country, when you're born poor, guess what? You're gonna fucking die poor. When you're born middle class, guess what? You're gonna fucking die middle class. People that are rich in this country, they were rich prior before they was born. They had family members that were rich. Like this.
Okay,
this
like
thing
Chris,
of this.
You're repeating a cycle. Like, look, if you think like, okay, you're born poor, you're gonna die poor. Okay, if you think like that, like, guess what? That's gonna happen.
You can't put that on me on that's how I think. That's just the way it is. I'm telling you, that's how it is in this country.
So you're saying it's impossible to get out of that?
I'm not saying it's impossible, but the majority of people are never going to leave that lane that they're in. You're not giving the country that you're thinking of. It does not open a lot of doors to for many people as you think it does, and that's my argument on it. I'm not saying it's possible to be rich and successful, but the opportunities are not as easy as people think it is. And that was my argument on it. And I'll just leave it at that because I got to pee so fucking bad.
Of course, it is not easy. But look, if you're not going to put your foot in there and you're not even going to try, like, okay, it's not going to be easy.
So what happens if you... I can't do this.
Yeah, if you don't do nothing, guess what? Nothing happens. That's how it is. That's like fucking...
Everybody who's poor out there, you try. If you work at 3 jobs, poor people... If you're working 3 jobs, you don't make it.
You're so crazy how you talk, man. No. You're saying you're working so hard to support people, you're not gonna get nowhere.
I know people work 3 jobs, but I gotta pee.
Ay. You wild, dude.
I'm just saying.
Like your logic, that's what's gonna hold that shit back. You're gonna keep that cycle stuck.
Or was that the reality of it? Or was that the reality of it?
Hey, change your reality. That's all I gotta say. Like, what is that hard? Like, come on. Like, change the way you think. Like, come on. You grow up poor. Like, what? Okay, you think you're gonna be poor? Guess what? You're gonna be poor. You're gonna be stuck in that same mindset. That's all it is. And there's so many opportunities out there. Nobody takes the opportunity. Guess what? It's gonna be harder if you don't take the opportunities to get the scholarships. If you don't write the essays, you don't do whatever to get the scholarships, guess what? It's going to be more expensive.
See, look at that. Bob says, 3 jobs. Me, still poor. That's the weird, like, hard work don't matter in this country. That's just me. But I got to pee.
No, don't listen to Bob. Bob is a fucking baller. Like, Bob.
That's different.
Bob is not poor. Get out of here, Bob. All right, we're going to end this podcast. This is too wild.
This went way longer than I expected.
I didn't know it was going to take this turn. All right, guys.
You did warn. You did warn me.
I didn't know it was going to be like this. But, like, shit.
But I think it was a good talk. On some real shit, honestly. It was a good talk.
We didn't finish, though. Like, we can take 2 hours, but we didn't finish. No. All right, peace out, guys. Adios.
See you guys.